Alrighty then, good morning. Where is my button? There it is. Boom! There it is. Hi everyone, how we doing? My name's Michael, I'm the Diddlesy Gamer, and today we are going to be doing a DAG reads of the Player Core 2. It is so good to see so many of you guys in good health, and one of you who is not. You know who you are. I'm so sorry that you are injured, unwell. Well, it's not that you're unwell, you were just injured. I mean, anyone could just be injured. Like, you know, like being unwell, you kind of have a certain amount of like, well, yeah, I kind of got exposed to something and then I had to bring it home. I've got kids and they're snotty and, I get that, and there's nothing you can kind of really do. But when you get injured, it's like, it's out of nowhere. It's like, it sucks. So, big hearts out to our dear friend Cass. Hope that you're doing well. It's so good to see so many awesome and amazing people. What we're doing today is we're going to be continuing our DAG reads. Now, like I said, this is not a review. This is not a how-to. This is nothing like that. This is just my personal first contact with this game. This is pretty much it. We shall see the chat overlay is working on. God dang it. God dang it, overlay. Just work for me. Just once. Oh, no, it is working. I think it's just catching up. Okay. If people keep typing, maybe. Hold on, wait. Let me just. No, who the hell are these people? Okay, let me try it again. Hold on. I don't know why it is so freaking temperamental. Like, I don't know what it does or why it does. Okay, hold on. Copy that there. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. No? Maybe. Ooh, there we go. Hey, sweet. Okay, I got it working. I don't know. Why am I in front of it now? Hold on, wait. Where is my thing? Gods damn it. There. Okay, cool. We got it. We got there in the end, people. We made it. Brittany, good morning. How are you, my dear? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Yada, yada, yada. Everything's good. Okay. Okay, here we go. Now, before we get started, actually, I want to lower that a little bit. There we go. All right, so before we get started today, I want to do something. I haven't prepared to do this, but before we start reading, I want to do a harrow reading. Why do I want to do a harrow reading? Because I'm weird. It's what we do. So in the Pathfinder world, there is a group of people known as the Varisians. They're kind of the equivalent of the Romani or the Gypsy people who travel around, and they have a lot of culture surrounding fortune telling and things like this. So the harrowing is a type of like fortune telling reading. Now I've been asked a couple of questions because of the Pathfinder games that I've played. Is how do I do a harrow reading in a D&D game? Oh, sorry, in a Pathfinder game, and how do I make it cool and fun? But I have a harrow deck in my fantasy grounds, so I thought just before I start today, I will do a harrow reading. So that we can, see how it's done and how you can make it interesting and yada, yada, yada. And for the people who are like, but we're supposed to be doing a reading of, like something else. Well, it's my stream and I'll do what I want. So there we go. Okay, here we go. This is Fantasy Grounds. Let's just open up the harrow deck here. There's my harrow deck. Why is that not picking up my harrow deck? Hold on. There we go. Cool. Okay, harrow deck. Yada, yada, yada. There it is. Boom. Deck of harrows. Boom, there it is. Okay. Now, it's my stream and I can read if I want to. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about a harrow deck is every single Varisian who does the fortune telling has their own unique harrow deck. It is uniquely theirs. It is usually a family heirloom. It is usually something, that is very connected to that fortune teller. You know, if the fortune teller loses that Harrow deck, it is a big deal. You know, like it's a really big deal. It's like losing a family pet. You know, in terms of how big of a deal it is. Okay. Now there are 6 suits to every single deck. Now this was obviously before Pathfinder 2nd edition changed up the alignment thing. So now, for those of you who don't know, Pathfinder 2nd edition has no alignment. So there's no lawful, evil, chaotic, neutral. You know, none of that exists anymore. But the Harrow deck still has those alignment charts. So if you look here on the blank screen, top left, we've got oh, hang on, okay, there you go. Top left, you've got like lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil, neutral good, lawful neutral, chaotic neutral, and then lawful evil, neutral evil, and chaotic evil. So these are your, you know, like kind of like layout. And each of the suits, the hammer, the keys, the shield, the books, the stars, and the crown, represent the different statistics in the game. Based on whatever question you're trying to get the fortune for, that would determine what suit you would use. If you're doing a general reading, you would use all the cards. But today, just because we're trying to do it quickly, I'm gonna pretend like you know, I'm a fortune teller. We're gonna do a reading for a specific question, and I'm gonna get everyone in chat to exclamation D20, and whoever rolls the 20, we're gonna have you be our question giver. So exclamation D20 in chat, so we can find that out. Guys, thank you so much for the gifted subs. Christina, thank you for gifting a sub to our dear friend Britt. And of course, Cookiemon for giving out a community sub out to the lovely people in chat. And Christina, once again, for Matt Storm Crow. Freaking awesome name, by the way. Thank you so much. Please enjoy your added channel points that you're going to be earning, as well as your new emotes. Enjoy them. Okay, so right now I'm looking and I see TK is winning with 14. No, Christina with a 15. Oh, and Votaria swoops in with a 19. All right, I don't think we're going to get better than a 19 this morning. So, Votaria, ask me any question you would like, pretending you're a character, or even a question for yourself. I mean, I don't know, just, you know, kind of gauge it here, you know. Don't be like, will my dad recover from his cancer treatment? You know, like, fuck off. I'm not gonna answer shit like that, okay? But anything all right, but anything, you know, reasonable, I will absolutely fucking answer, you know. Okay, so yeah, ask any question you'd like and we'll do the reading, and I'll even get some music going. Let's do this properly, okay? So I'll create the whole scene. So so the people who hopefully were asking about how to do a Harrow reading in Pathfinder can see how I would do a Harrow reading. Aggro-dag. It's always aggro-dag! Winning lotto numbers. I mean, I'll tell you how to get the winning lotto numbers. Okay, here we go. That's perfect. All right. Will my case outcome next week be favorable? Jesus fuck, Murray. All right. You know what? I'm not even gonna ask questions. Okay. So, will your case's outcome next week be favorable? All right. So, with the strength suits, you'd be asking questions about physical prowess. With your dexterity suits, you'd be asking things regarding like your speed, like how quick something might be, yada yada yada. Your constitution would obviously be things that you're enduring. Intelligence would be your knowledge. Wisdom would be, again, your interpretation of the world around you. And charisma would be your force of personality. These things still apply to the questions that are being asked. So, to ask a question like what the case's outcome would be and would it be favorable, you're really asking about justice, right? So you're asking about justice. Will justice be served? So what I would look at is wisdom, because wisdom is what we hope, at least, justice will fall down to. So over here, we're going to just flip our wisdom suits here. Okay, so there we go. So Votaria, I'm going to ask you to select one of the suits that are on the top row, because we're looking for a positive outcome, right? So these are the positive suits. These are the unclear, and these are the negatives. So we're looking for a positive suit. So Votaria, you get to pick one of the three. So left, middle, or right. Dude, I was like, fuck off. Freaking love and soulmates and shit. Jesus Christ, guys. The right one. All right. So the positive future. We have the carnival. Oh, what do you mean it's not loaded? Yes, it's loaded. There, thank you. All right. The carnival is our suit, which, you know, I would immediately read as a circus, but let's wine this and dine this. So here we go. Go here, headphones. Okay. So the summer sky has a warm glow that covers the small town of Fenspear, where our heroes finally find themselves awakening to the day. But today is not as pleasant as the weather would imply, for our dear friend Votaria has a court summons to be before his peers, before the eyes of the various gods of the region, in order to have their claims judged before a jury and proceeded over by none other than High Lord Judge Fen. Before heading out to the courthouse, however, Votarius manages to sneak away to a small, unassuming shop. It smells like incense and herbs, and sitting behind the counter is a woman dressed in a number of loose-fitting silks and robes, brightly colored and emblazoned with stars and butterflies. Madame Christina, as she is known, greets her new client warmly and bids them to sit. As you do so, she pulls out a deck of cards, worn off by the edges, but cared for very tenderly. She begins to shuffle them as you ask your question. Hearing, she nods and lays out a spread of 9 cards formed in 3x3 rows. She explains that you seek a positive result for the future of your court case. Then I bid thee pick from the top row any of the 3 cards, and your future shall be revealed. As Votaria points to the card on the right, she flips it over with a bony finger. Ah, the carnival. Not aligned. The future unclear. This is a card of illusions, false dreams. It can imply that whimsy and freedom might be dangerous, might be risky. But as this is a misaligned card, you may interpret this as perhaps an imprudent plan going awry due to the subterfuge, or perhaps an unrealistic ambition that lays before you. Perhaps you may not escape justice this day. But if you keep your weather eye open, you can see those who choose to manipulate the strings of justice, and perhaps you do not need to be the only one in shackles. With that, she flips over the card again. And, yeah, in a nutshell, that is how one would, thank you guys so much for the level 2 hype train, you bloody beautiful legends, you. Much love, much love. Okay, but that is effectively how one does a Harrow. you know, like that whole, the pomp and circus. Now, the thing is as you can see, wait, what happened? No. Where is the circus? There we go. Sorry, I think I refreshed it. So as you can see here, it just it says like card of illusions and false dreams can heighten the power of the supernatural world, but depending on such whimsical forces can be risky. For others, this card depicts imprudent plans and unrealistic ambition. So the trick isn't to just regurgitate the reading, but to interpret the question. So the question was about justice. So how does a card that represents illusions impact justice? Well, it's someone or something trying to pull the veil over justice, or trying to obscure maybe certain facts about the case. Implying this and putting this forward means that as a D&D, or sorry, as a DM, you can potentially create an entire plot based on the fact that someone is trying to sabotage Votaria's case. And then that becomes a quest for the others. So while Votaria is in jail or dealing with stuff, suddenly, boom, you now have another thing. Justice is getting custody of your granddaughters. Well, in that case, I would say that someone is trying to perhaps, I mean, if I knew that as the DM, I'd say that maybe someone is trying to dig up the past and use it to veil the truth. Because who we are in the past isn't who we are now, right? So if they're using like things that have happened long ago to discredit your, you know, people's capabilities of doing stuff, then they're just using illusions. They're just using misinformation in order to do stuff. Like, it's if you go back far enough, it's like, yeah, I was in preschool. I elbow dropped a small child off a jungle gym. I mean, now that makes me an unfit parent? Fuck off. You know, like that is a beautiful way to kind of like, again, twist and make sure that these cards speak to whomever is doing the reading. Now, I will bear in mind, these are not real tarot cards, of course. These are fictional tarot cards, so there's no real weight to it. But it is great as a storytelling tool for any good game master. And what else is cool about it is every single one of these cards is actually its own unique story in Varisian culture. To boot, not only that, every single thing is potentially connected to a realm known as the Harrow, where people can go and actually meet the characters from the cards, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Votaria, see, exactly. That's the thing. It's all up to interpretation. You know, it's equivalently the RPG version of a cold reading. So yeah, there you go. Aw, thank you, Britt. I appreciate that. it's kind of the job, but you know, yeah. So yeah. And the cards are absolutely beautiful too. And some of them are absolutely grotesque as well. This one here always gives me the heebie-jeebies. Look at that. Freaking the owl. The owl represents the acceptance that shit just goes wrong. It sews together life as quickly as it unpicks it. And it's the knowledge that a wolf will cull the weak from the herd, ultimately making the herd stronger. A harsh truth, but one that must happen. But fuck, that's, you know, just freaking staring into my soul. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. Hedwig looking mad. That's true, that's true. All right, what say we do some DAG reads? Also, if anyone does have continued questions about the Harrow or things like that, please feel free to ask. The Harrow is available for purchase as well. Via the Paizo website, you can get the Harrow decks for yourself if you want to use them. Or if you have fantasy grounds like myself, that whole thing, that actual reader, is available on all of it. You just click on a button and then it pulls out things and you can do a Harrow reading on the fly. So yeah, it's super cool. Okay. Click on the right side of the screen and pick the name. It might be helpful. Oh, yeah. OG, I'm waiting on the upper arm and shoulder x-ray, plus the youngest knee x-ray. Oh, poor thing. Yes. I hope you and your family a speedy recovery. Speedy recovery. Okay. All right. Let me close Fantasy Grounds here, and let's get some reading done. Okay. Let's put my other soundtrack back on. There we go. Okay. So what are we reading today? Pathfinder Player Core, we are looking at the Sorcerer. Now, we left the Sorcerer out from last week because we were originally going to do the Oracle and the Sorcerer because I've always loved the juxtaposition between the Oracle and the Sorcerer. For those of you who don't know, in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, there is the Cleric and the Wizard, who both are what's considered to be prepared spellcasters. They study, they learn, and they attribute their powers to rigorous devotion to their craft, right? That's the nature of both clerics and wizards. In their juxtaposition, we have oracles and sorcerers. Oracles, rather than devoting themselves to a god and sort of being, like really kind of focused on their worship and their doctrine, an oracle is kind of chosen by a god and said, regardless of what's happening here, you are my chosen and I'm bestowing power on you at the cost of a curse. And that curse is, kind of what plays out. The sorcerer is no different to that for the wizard, where a wizard would be studying books and learning arcane runes and magic. A sorcerer has a lineage tied deeply to creatures that are born of magic and are thus born with the inherent powers of magic. I find that sorcerers and oracles tend to be more popular than wizards and clerics, but that's just me. But yeah, let's see what they've done with the Sorcerer and how it's evolved in Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered. Okay, here we go. You didn't choose to become a spellcaster. You were born one. There's magic in your blood. Perhaps a divine influence blessed one of your ancestors. Perhaps a divine influence blessed one of your ancestors. A forebear communed with an ancient primordial entity, or a powerful occult ritual performed long ago influenced your lineage. Self-reflection and study allow you to refine your inherent magic skills and unlock new, more powerful abilities. The power in your blood carries a risk, however, and you constantly face the choice of whether you rise to become a master of spellcasting, or fall into destruction. Ooh, there it is. Boom. Hey, B-Town. What's up, B-Town? So I don't want to get the new updated core rule books. Will you still play with me? Yes, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Yeah, forget about it. Yeah, so to clarify as well, again, on that note for B-Town, these updated ones are a remastery. They are 100% completely backwards compatible with the legacy Pathfinder 2nd Edition stuff. So all the stuff that Pathfinder released from 2nd Edition is compatible with remastering. However, I do recommend the update, only because the update seems to have balanced a few things out. Don't think of it like a rework, but more a massive errata that's actually helped a lot of characters really come into their own, both stylistically and creatively, now that they're not tied together with some basic stuff that really they were only dragging from D&D 3.5 across the threshold. So, it is really cool. You get the bundle at some point? Yeah, do it. Do it! Only if you want to. Just saying. Alright, now, they're charisma based, so that hasn't changed. 6 plus their constitution modifier. It's a, spellcaster, they're remastering me in bankruptcy. Oh, Proxima. Do not get me started. When 2nd Edition first came out, I was so angry. I have every single non-adventure book from Pathfinder 1st Edition on my shelf gathering dust as we speak. I understand your pain. I understand it so fiercely. But yes, welcome in as well, by the way. Alright, so yeah. So 6 plus Constitution makes perfect sense. It's what spellcasters get. Yada, yada, yada. Trained in Perception, Expert in Will. That's what you expect. 2 skills determined by your bloodline. That's pretty much the same as before. Trained in number of skills equal to 2 plus your Intelligence modifier. Which, if you don't take your Intelligence, actually could mean that sorcerers become very limited in their skills. So, interesting on that one. Attacks, simple weapons unarmed. Yep, because you're using spells. Defense, unarmed, and unarmored. Cool. I love that it's pointed out that you're untrained in all armor. That's kind of fun. Then you're trained in your spells and your DCs. Cool. Easy. Nice. So yeah, pretty much almost mirror copied of the wizard, with the exception of you getting some extra skills based on your bloodline. Which is good because, you know, obviously based on your bloodline might determine, you know, the origins of certain knowledge that your character will have. DD, Pathfinder, Alien, Star Trek Adventures. Oh my god, Astrologist, are we doing this? Okay, hold on, wait. So, I'm not buying D&D. Why am I not buying D&D? Because I do Pathfinder, right? 99% of the time I'm doing Pathfinder. You know, like, I could buy... I mean, if someone bought me the, you know, like, 2024 bullshit pack or whatever, I don't even know if I'd accept it because I don't have any D&D games. Like, I'm not playing any, so why would I waste that money? If someone gifted it to me, like, as in, like, just handed me the physical copy, I'd be like, yeah, okay, thanks, I guess. I don't know if I'd read it, but yeah, you know. So I won't put D&D in there. Pathfinder, absolutely. I've got The Walking Dead. I've got the City of Mist. I've got Starfinder. The new 2nd edition Starfinder is coming out now. I do want to do Kids on Bikes. I haven't had a chance to yet. I want to do the Fallout RPG. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. You know, and what was the other one that I wanted to do? Come on, Michael, you know this one. It was... God damn. I can't remember what it was. Oh, Through the Breach. Fucking, what am I saying? Through the Breach. That is another one. Because they're releasing their new one as well. So, you know, yeah, there we go. I don't like Star Trek. I like Lower Decks. I don't like Star Trek. Like, you know, I don't know. It never spoke to me. Lots of Cypher Systems. Yeah, lots of Cypher System books. Cool. There we go. You know what I kind of hope, though? I do hope they do a Ghostbusters RPG with, like, the Free League stuff. That would be fucking cool. Could you imagine Free League getting their hands on Ghostbusters? Oh, so good. The Lower Deck stuff is in that bundle. Ooh, maybe. Maybe, we'll see. B-Town, I'm going to Europe. I have to... Look, see? Europe thing. I'm going to Europe first. Let me do that before I start spending money on stuff I'm going to read and then never play. Okay, so... Now, as always, we're going to be going through the Sorcerers list of abilities. We are going to ignore the stuff that is, you know, marred across every single class. So things like the backgrounds, the attribute boosts, the level up, the skill level ups, etc., etc., etc. Because as we've said, every single one of these streams, each of the classes now has a is now interchangeable with every single one. So rather than multi-classing, all of them kind of level up with the same progression, and then it just changes the options that you have as you level up. So, you know, everyone's the same. Here we go. All right, so to begin, bloodlines. Okay, we start by choosing a bloodline that is determined by our that determines our type of spells that we can cast and the list that we can choose from, etc., etc., etc. We have aberrant, which is of course things like your aboleth, your kind of creatures of the old god type stuff. Angelic, planetary, demonic, diabolic, draconic, elemental, fey, hag. Interesting. Imperial, interesting as well, and undead. Okay, cool. So a lot of old ones and a couple of new ones, a couple of brand new babies. All right, interesting. No, I'm not sad. And just busy. That's all. And I like being busy because I do what I love. So I'm always doing what I love. There you go. All right, so Sorcerer spellcasting. Your bloodline provides you with abilities of magic. You can cast spells, blah, 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 blah. As you increase in level, you increase your number of spells per day, yada, yada, yada. So it's effectively, you get spellcasting. Heightening your spells. When you get spell slots of 2nd level or higher, you can fill those slots with stronger version of your low-ranking spells, heightening it to match the spell slot. You must have a spell in your spell repertoire at the rank you want to cast it in order to heighten it. Okay, so what that means is, so here's our spell per day list. Let's say that we are level 10. Okay, so over here at level 10, right? At level 10, we have 4 5th level spells. But let's say we're going to use a heightened spell that is a cantrip, right? So our cantrip still functions as a cantrip, but is treated as a 5th level spell because we already have opened 5th level spell slots. If we use the cantrip as a 5th level spell, I believe it is still used as a cantrip, but it's now power scaled to meet whatever it needs to be. Alternatively, if we have things that level up throughout, like your first level heal spell, and it goes through, I can cast basically, because I've got heal at 5th level, I also treat it as if I've got heal at 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So no matter when I use it, I just remove the slot from which I use it. Maybe. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But yes. So that's how heightening works. Spell repertoire. These are, of course, the spells that we know how to cast. We can swap spells anytime we learn new spells. Sorcerer potency. When you cast a spell that either damages or restores hit points, you gain a status bonus to the spell's damage equal to your spell ranks. Ooh, okay, cool. So, hold on. Oh, wow, okay, so sorcerers straight up just do more damage or more healing. That's pretty cool. All right, yeah, sorcerer potency. Neat, neat. I like that. Okay, then what do we have? Signature spells. This is allows you you don't need to learn the heightened version. Right, if you swap out a signature spell. Okay. If you've learned a signature spell at a higher rank than its minimum, you can also cast all of its lower ranks without learning those separately. Ah, okay, cool. So yeah. Okay, so at 3rd level you get that ability I was saying before. So yeah, so at 3rd level you pick a spell, and then when you have it at 5th level, you also automatically have it at 4th, 3rd, 2nd, yada yada yada. So that's stuff I was saying. So that's cool. Then what do we else? Magnetic Fortitude, all this stuff is just basically leveling up your things. Yep, that's all just leveling up your basic stuff. And then Bloodline Paragon, which is your top tier stuff. You get 2 10th level spells. Cool, sweet. And you can take the Bloodline Perfection Sorcerer feat to gain another slot in that. Okay, cool. So, effectively, this is just spell casting, right? You cast spells, you are more adaptable with using your spells, and you have access, and the spells that you can cast, you become masters of. So yeah, most spells you need to learn each level. Yes. So, bad example is a cantrip, auto heightens. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I realized that when I said it at school. Yeah. So yes, cantrips will auto heighten. Leveled up spells you need to take at each level. However, signature spells you only need to take at the highest level. That's how that works. Figured it out. All on my own. Without schoolie. No, it's schoolie. Yeah, thank you, mate. Anyway. Okay, bloodline spells. Here we go. We don't need to read this because this is how to read, and I know how to read, thank you. Okay. Aberrant bloodline. Something ancient and unknowable speaks to you from beyond the stars or below the earth. You learn occult spells, which is one of the schools of magic in Pathfinder. You have occult, divine, primal, and arcane. These are your types of spells. And if you choose the aberrant bloodline, the spell list you get to pick from is the occult one. So yeah. You gain the intimidation and occultism skills, which are the ones that you learn when you first take the class. And your sorceress gifts are Daze, Phantom Pain, Stupefy, Vampiric Feast, Confusion, Slither, Nevermind, Warp Mind, Uncontrollable Dance, and Unfathomable Song. This definitely has a culty vibe to it. Bloodline spells. Tentacular Limb, Aberrant Whispers, and Unusual Anatomy. Okay. And Blood Magic Eerie Veil. An ominous pall spills from your mind. Either one target takes a -1 to their will saves for a round, or you gain a +2 to your will saves for 1 round. Okay. So, my understanding here, I've mentioned this before, focus points. Every class that has consumable abilities uses focus. Now, I believe your sorcerer's gifts are going to be your versions of your focus abilities. So when you use a focus, you can burn it to do one of these abilities, which usually gets covered later on in the chapter. So don't worry too much about those ones. As for your bloodline spells, these are now extra things that you get on top of your occult list. You would gain these things that I don't think will be on the occult list, but now are included. So, you know, there you go. Okay. Then we've got a whole bunch of sorcerer feats, which is cool up there. It's about average of what we've seen in the book so far. Let's keep going with our bloodlines. Angelic bloodlines. One of your forebears hail from a celestial realm, or one of your ancestors' devotion led to their lineage being blessed. Your tradition is bloodline. Your skills are diplomacy and religion. Your sorcerer's gifts are light, heal, spiritual armament, holy light, divine wrath, divine immolation, blessed boundary, divine decree, moment of renewal, and foresight. Your bloodline spells are angelic halo, angelic wings, and celestial brand. So basically you turn into an angel. Your blood magic, divine aura. You project a warning aura that protects you or one target, granting a +1 bonus to saving throws for 1 round. That's pretty cool. You get a signature spell for each level. Pick one at level 1, and you know it's heightened ones. Pick a different signature for level 2, and so on. Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, so signature spell seems to be the big element to these guys, for the most part. Is you learn fewer spells, but you learn them more potently, I guess. Alright. Demonic. Demons debase all they touch. One of your ancestors fell victim to their corruption, and you're burdened by that sin. Tradition is divine. Bloodline skills are intimidation and religion. Your sorcerer's gift are caustic blast, fear, enlarge, slow, divine wrath, blister, disintegrate, divine decree, canticle of everlasting grief, and implosion. Your bloodline spells are glutton's jaw, swamp of sloth, and Cthulhian wrath. Your blood magic, corruption of sin. You mentally broadcast a brief glimpse into the dark desires of the mind. Either the target takes a -1 status to their AC for 1 round, or you gain a +2 to intimidate for 1 round. That's cool. That's cool indeed. Did your ancestors have to go bang a demon? Probably. I mean, look, succubus are demons. Famous lines from Rise of the Rune Lords. If you stop and think about it, incubus and succubus are demons. And no one's complaining about getting into bed with one of them. Except the people that die doing it. You know, I mean, obviously, but you know. Anyway. Diabolic. Do you say diabolic or diabolic? I say diabolic. The reason I say diabolic is because I pretend it's Italian. Maybe it is just me. Maybe it's because I love to know that people from the Vatican will likely be saying diabolic, but I think it's diabolic. 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 Is that how you say it, Christina? Anyone else? Diabolic. Or diabolic. That could be. Take a little bit of butcher from the boys. That is diabolical. That is diabolic. Diabolic. That's very British, it is. Alright. Anyway, devils. Devils are evil with a silver tongue, and one of your ancestors dallied in darkness or made an infernal pact. I love how you put my country's twang into it. Good. Diagonally. Brent. That made me laugh way too hard. Go with dang demons. Dang devils. Marjorie, get the shotgun. We got some more dang demons on the lawn. Sir, I can grant you your greatest desire. Ah, shoot, I already got my moonshine and my hoagie. I'm good, man. You got any crawfish? Sorry, I'm done. British, he's a Kiwi. Look, I can do voices. I just can't do the Cajun voice yet, but I'm going to fucking learn, I swear. I say this every year. Nothing about where baby Dragoloths come from in Baron Mind 3 D&D. They first appeared as Glabrazoo demons. Yeah, that's true. Glabrazoo are fucked. And yeah, I did not know that about Dragoloths. I keep thinking of, are you thinking about the Dragoloth? The Drider The big thing that looks like a gorilla with the tiny hands and the drider backside. Is that what you're talking about, Australis? Because I think that is spelled... I think that's spelled that way, maybe. But yes, I do know those ones, if that's what you're talking about. Mine's more of a Texas twang. Well, you know, Hold on, wait. Let me see if I can get this. Yeah, I used to have a character that I used to play. It was, back in the day, there was a show called The Broken World Chronicles, and I played Flint. And he was a warforged, and he was from the land where gnomes, they done ruined everything by letting loose a bomb to kill out all their enemies. Left nothing behind except these giant copper bubble cities where they hid. Sent the warforgers out to pioneer the inhospitable lands. Make it good once again. But every time a warforged starts to act out of line or behave in a kind of a squirrelic sort of way, they'd send out the keepers to come track him down. Well, old Flint here, well, he ain't gonna be tracked down by no tin can wearing, no good bomb dropping, mother gnoming. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So, yeah. And his catchphrase was Great Gyro's Ghost. Yeah, I love that one. I love that guy. Yeah. Broken World Chronicles. I really regret the fact that we never actually finished that series. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay, so going back, keep getting distracted. I'm getting distracted. All right, here we go. So, devils are evil, yada, yada, yada. Tradition is divine. Bloodline skills are deception and religion. Makes sense. Sorcerer's gifts are ignition, charm, floating flame, enthrall, suggestion, a wave of despair, true sight, divine decree, divine inspiration, and falling stars. Their bloodline spells are diabolic edict, embrace the pit, and hellfire plume. Diabolic. Yeah, like kind of like the British one. Black magic, tongue of flame. Blood magic, tongue of flame. Your tongue has become laced with flames of hell. You can either lash out to a foe with it or swallow it to make your lies more palatable. Either a target takes 1 fire damage per spell rank if a spell already has the initial fire damage. Combine this with the spell's initial damage before applying weaknesses, or you gain +2 status bonus to your deception. That's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I like it. I like the fact that, you know, you can swallow the flames and then, like, lie better. But the whole tongue lashing thing, it's got a kind of a froggy kind of feel to it, you know? Like, Wah! Yeah. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I just don't know how I feel about it. Because I don't ever feel like a devil with a silver tongue has, like, a frog tongue that's made of fire. Maybe it's just me. Anyway. Yeah, right? So I got that little bit of an ick factor. Here it is, boys. You ready? And girls, boys and girls, and everything in between. We have the Draconic bloodline. This is the most popular bloodline. This has always been the most popular bloodline. Since Dag, was a wee, tiny little Aussie, I knew that Draconics were cool. Ever since Deacon. Bit of a deep cut for anyone who doesn't know who Deacon is. Draconics have been a thing. And now in this book, we can play lizard folk who have draconic bloodlines as a heritage to make them half dragons, to then take sorcerers who will also be bloodlines of the dragons. Could absolutely happen. Okay, but let's see how we go. The blood of the dragons flow through your veins. These beasts are both fearsome in combat and skilled in magic. Bloodline tradition is variable. See draconic exemplars. Interesting. Okay. Intimidation and 1 other skill based on your exemplar. Okay. Sorcerer's gifts. Shield, fear. See exemplar. Haste, fly. See exemplar. Dragon form. Okay. Mask of Terror, see exemplar, and then Overwhelming Presence. Bloodline spells are Flurry of Claws, Dragon Breath, and Dragon Wings. Your blood magic is Scaly Hide. The draconic scales grow briefly on you, giving a +1 to your AC. So fundamentally, you are just a dragon at that point. Yeah, a half dragon. Well, no, because dragon form will turn you into a dragon, right? But yeah, fundamentally, you're becoming a dragon. Which, so here's the thing. Okay, hold on. I'll go on a little tirade in a second. Let's read the example out. So, arcane tradition. You gain X amount of abilities. So yeah. So basically, you have to choose arcane, divine, occult, or primal, as far as that goes. So you don't actually have to choose your dragon. However, next to that, you can see on the sidebar here, it says you can choose a specific dragon if you would like. So if you choose an adamantine dragon, you go with primal, and then you have those spells. So you can choose either an untyped version, which is arcane, divine, occult, or primal, or you could choose a specific dragon, which I think is kind of cool. I like the fact that they've given that option too, because it means that if you, as a DM, want to create your own dragons in your own version of the world, then yeah, you could easily, pardon me, you could easily do that. So I think that's cool. Okay, let me talk about dragons real quick. Here's the thing. I think dragons are awe-inspiring creatures. They are amazing. They are breathtaking. They are incredibly powerful entities that exist within the world. The thing is, I think people often mistake revering or admiring dragons to simply wanting to emulate or become them. And I mean, for things like kobolds and lizard folk, I kind of get it, you know, like, yeah, you know, like, I'm a lizard, you're a lizard, you know, I could be like that, you know, that makes sense. But if you're like a human and you look at a dragon, what eventually goes across your mind that goes, you know what I need? I need tails and a wing and some wings, you know? Like, I need my entire physical anatomy to replicate this creature, but smaller, you know? Like, that's the bit that always weirds me out. Like, it doesn't weird me out because, I mean, furries are a thing. But, like, but it's one thing to revere the dragons. Like, if you had a dragon breath, fantastic, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna cast my spells, but I'm gonna cast them out of my mouth to emulate the dragon, because I am a dragon worshiper, and I believe that my words, my vocalizations, are the words of the dragon. I want to be imposing and intimidating, so maybe I cast a fear aura, and that's kind of cool as well. But when you start to grow scales and claws and a tail and, you know, like, at what point do you just start calling yourself a dragon and then people start looking at you like, you know, yeah, that's Cousin Andy. He's a dragon now. Yeah, happened. It's very weird. Happened overnight. He went out one day to go save some kids, you know, like that were playing near a mine, and next thing he comes back, guy's got scales, slit eyes, breathes fire, keeps sitting on top of all of his gold instead of, you know, putting it in the bank. Like, I mean, weird, but, you know, yeah, we love him. So yeah. That's kind of it. It's like, I like the idea of revering dragons and being thematically like dragons, but the physical anatomy thing, that's always like the thing that I like. 99.9% of people who have played dragon-ish characters, I always see them go down that road. You know, they always go down the road of, I want to fly, I want to breathe fire, I want to, you know, yada 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 yada. So, yeah, and it's not that I won't allow people to do that, and it's not the same as, like, you know, the barbarian using a two-handed freaking death meat cleaver or whatever. This is the equivalent of me going like, what is your character's mentality? Where is your character's head at to want to shapeshift? You know, do you have body dysphoria? You know, do you have that, what is it called? Body dysmorphia. Do you have body dysmorphia? Do you feel like you are a dragon trapped in a human's body? Like, you know, tell me where your head's at. That's it. Hey, Odd Bandicoot. And Marcus, good to see you. All right, yeah, there you go. Wants to bite people. That's it. Wants to bite people. It's like, that's it. I just want to sleep on gold. Yeah, no, he's a strange kid. I want to sleep on gold. Okay. Now, elementals. Sleep on gold and bite people. Okay, elementals. An elemental influence has imbued your blood with primal fury. You are granted different sorcerer gifts, spells, and damage types from the blood depending on which elemental has affected your bloodline. It is a primal tradition. Your skills are intimidation nature. Your sorcerer's gifts are based on the influence that you have. Resist energy, unfettered movement, elemental form, energy aegis, earthquake, and wrathful storm. Your bloodline spells are elemental toss, elemental motion, elemental blast. Blast! And your blood magic is elemental fury. Elemental energy reads your form and infuses your magic. Either you gain a +2 status bonus to your intimidate checks for 1 round, or a target takes 1 damage per spell rank. This damage type is listed under your elemental influence. If the spell already deals that, combine it with the spell's initial damage before determining weaknesses and resistance. Okay, so that seems pretty cool. That's very much, you know, what I expected from this particular set. Now, I'm interested to see how this is going to compare up to the upcoming Kineticist. So the Kineticist, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the plan is for the upcoming Kineticist to be in War for the Immortals, which is coming up. Because I've seen a lot of artwork for a character. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up here. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There we go. All right, Samo. Oh, it's called the Animist. Yeah, the Animist is what it is. So, again, I don't know if this is going to be it. I don't know if it's going to be different. Let me just put that up here so you guys can see that. Yeah, so that is the new Animist that is coming out, which does remind me of the Kineticist, to be honest, right? Like, let's see. This is the iconic Kineticist. Where is she? Iconic Kineticist, Pathfinder. There we go. Okay, I think this is the updated version of her. Yeah, okay, so I think that's the updated version. Yeah, so I think that's the updated version. Now, the thing about the Kineticist here is the non-updated version, because I haven't seen the updated version, so she does look a lot different now. But the previous version of the same character was this one here. And one thing I noticed is she's got this, like, boomerang type thing. Right? Like, it's a club, okay? But, you know, that's kind of what it is, right? Now, I've noticed that the updated version doesn't have the club. Oh, let me just double check to make sure she doesn't have the club. Where is it? There we go. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, she does not have the club. She's just got the animus things, right? But if you look here, this one does have that same kind of like design with the club as the original one did. So yeah, you know. That's kind of where my head was at, you know. Cause the iconic, cause this character here is Samo, and the character here is Yoon, right? So they're two different characters, but at the same time, I'm like, is this just the update? Is this the new one? I mean, who knows? That's just where my head's at. Yeah, yep. So the spiritual animist and the deific exemplar. Okay. All right, where are we at? So we did the draconic elementals. So yeah, we've got Let's see. Influences. There's air. Oh, and it does. So air does slashing damage. Earth does bludgeoning damage. Fire does fire damage. Metal does piercing damage. Water does bludgeoning damage. Wood does bludgeoning damage as well. I would have said something should have done piercing damage. I would say maybe wood would be bludgeoning or piercing, maybe. Oh no, metal is piercing. Sorry, metal is piercing. There we go. There it is. Yeah, there it is. I missed something in side conversation. Who is Elliot? Do they love animals? Who's Elliot? Where are we looking at? Elliot? I know who Elliot is. Okay, here we go. Looks like an alchemist, yeah. Old school puff magic dragon. Okay, random question. Give me a random question before we get into Fae. Actually, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to order a burrito. Oh, I can't. It's 9 o'clock. Pie? Pie, maybe? Do I want a pie? I hate breakfast menus. I just want to eat lunch. I could get pancakes. It has been a while since I've had a McDonald's pancake. Order a pie. I could order a pie. Oh, French toast does sound amazing, but there's no good places that do French toast. Okay. You know what? No. I'm just hungry because I'm bored. I have my juice. My juice is okay. I can go make some toast later on. I can make my own French toast. I'll make my own French toast. You know what? That's what I'll do. I'll make French toast. What am I saying? I can cook. I can make my own French toast. Oh, you know what I can do? I can make my souffle omelets. That's what I'll do. Okay. Do you like when players try to make a character based off a monster? One of my players came to me with a backup character for something based off a monster. Like he wants to play a ghost using the ghost dedication, but wants to base it off the Phantom Knight enemy. I think characters based off monsters can be a lot of fun, can be really, really good, but they need to be done well. They need to have the same attitude that I give to people who want to be dragons or whatever, and that is, your character's entire goal can't be to become a monster, right? You have to be an entire individual person with your own ideas, your own values, your own things, and maybe perhaps just like a martial artist will study animals to adapt their style of fighting, you may have done the same thing with a creature to adapt your style of combat or your style of engaging with the world to emulate that. What you wouldn't want to be doing, what you wouldn't be doing is trying to become a monster. If I liked mimics, I wouldn't cover myself in honey and go hug people to death, right? It is just as stupid to me when that is the case. If that is what your character is doing, then dude, you're building a character to try and be something that you're not. And that's okay, but we need to explore that. You know, you can't just sort of be like, you know, I'm going to be a goblin and I'm going to paint myself green and I'm going to walk around on my knees and then just be like, nah, I'm a goblin, right? You can absolutely do that, but we need more. We need more than just this, you know. Like having a favorite enemy or having, like, again, that respect or that admiration of another thing. You've started associating streaming with breakfast? Maybe, Votari. That could actually be it, you know? Like, whenever I'm in, like, this morning mood, I'm like, it's at the same time that, like, breakfast is usually around. So usually around now, I'm like, am I hungry? I'm like, no, I feel like it's habit. Yeah, you're right. Maybe, Votaria. Yeah. Okay. That's my answer on that. That is just offended all the goths who want to be vampires. Look, you could be a vampire. Have a fucking story, right? If you tell me that I just want to sparkle in the daylight and, like, stop trucks with my bare hands and then make flirty, pouty faces at people, fuck off, right? If you go, I want to be buried alive, then be dug out by some miners hundreds of years later with a rock jammed in my face in order to try and spook the old man who is, like, kind of there with a shovel, then feed on him, make my own fortune in a small castle in a nearby kingdom, and then torment the village folk? Yeah, sure. Okay, you know what? Fucking go for it. Fucking, that is a lot of fucking effort you are putting towards being a vampire. Go nuts. Fucking love it. But yes. Yes, sparkles and teeth do not make vampires. No, sir. Can you tell the Dag's very opinionated about fucking vampires? And rice vampires. Yes! But I want a vampire that blows glitter dust to people as an escape method. Alright. Fae. Fae, whimsy, or tryst in moonlight groves put a bewitching magic on the first world onto your family's bloodline. This is primal tradition magic, deception in nature. The gifts are figment, charm, laughing fit, enthrall, suggestion, hallucination, mislead, visions of danger, uncontrollable dance, and metamorphosis. Your bloodline spells are fairy dust, fey disappearance, and fey glamour. Your blood magic is cloak of ribbons. Colorful fey ribbons dance around you, either giving you +2 to your performance checks for 1 round, or you can become concealed. Such obvious concealment cannot be used to hide. Oh, okay, so basically if someone tries to shoot you, you can be concealed, but you can't use that concealment to, like, hide and stealth. Okay, makes sense. Opinionated about Twilight. Twilight and Vampire Diaries, I guess. You know, that kind of stuff. But what if you have those? Yeah. Okay. Okay, the Fae looks really cool. I like it. Again, not anything unexpected there. I do like the kind of ribbon idea. That's kind of cool. I would love to elaborate on this in different ways. Like maybe say maybe it's the sound of bells as well, or instead of ribbons, maybe it's leaves, and you know, like maybe it's 4-leaf clovers. Who knows, right? Like I think there's a lot of aesthetic that can be played here, which I like. The Hag. A hag cursed your family long ago, or you are the descendant of a hag or changeling, and their magic infests your blood and soul. I like it. It's cool. Occult tradition. Bloodline is deception or occultism. Sorcerer's gift are daze, illusory disguise, stupefy, blindness, an outcast's curse, mariner's curse, curse of metamorphosis, warp mind, quandary, and phantasmagoria. Fucking love that name. That is a fucking cool name. Phantasmagoria. I want to call a character that. I want to say, it's like, I'm a goblin. I hit people with a brick. What's your name? Phantasmagoria. Fuck, that's a cool name. I'm gonna write that down. Make goblin called Phantasmagoria. Done. All right. Bloodline spells, jealousy hex, horrific visage, and you're mine. I'm really interested in that one. You're mine. What the fuck? Okay, cool. Bloodline magic, retributive spite, malice, and acrimony. Never heard that word. Take physical form around you. You deal 4 mental damage per spell rank with a basic save to the first creature that deals damage to you before the end of your next turn. If no creature damages you, you consume that spite to gain temporary hit points at the beginning of your next turn, equal to the spell ranks. These temporary hit points last until the beginning of your following turn. That's cool. I like that. And I also like the fact that it doesn't waste that ability either, that it actually does come back as temporary hit points as well. So that's cool. I like that. Ah, that's cool. I dig that. All right. Acrimony, anger and bitterness, harsh or biting sharpness, especially of words, manner, or feeling. Okay. I guess. Well, here's the thing. Well, what's the difference between that and malice? Like, isn't that the same thing? Isn't they just 2 words effectively saying the same thing? Also, I feel like that... Okay, so I'm gonna make a quick point here. That, for me, is a strike against accessibility. If I have to go Google what a word means, that means that phrase, that power is inaccessible without knowing what it does. Malice, good. Acrimony, I have to look that up, right? But you could easily have just said, your desire to cause pain... Your anger and desire to cause pain manifest in a physical form around you. Yeah, you know, like, you don't need... You know, you could... malice is more of a feeling, yeah. So, I mean, like I said, you could make it more accessible, but, you know, yeah. Because keeping in mind, I also teach this game to kids, so then I have to freaking know this stuff, so then I have to fucking tell them. So there you go. All right. Yeah, fair enough. One is an attitude, the other is a desire. Oh, okay, that makes sense, Okay. Learn something new. Imperial. One of your ancestors was a mortal who mastered magic. Mortal mastered magic. Mortal mastered magic. Mortal mastered magic. Sorry. I like alliteration. All right. Tradition. Arcane. Bloodline skill. Arcane and society. Sorcerer's gift. Detect magic. Force barrage. Dispel magic. Haste. Translocate. Scouting eye. Disintegrate. Retrocognition. Quandary. And implosion. The bloodline spells are ancestral memories, extend blood magic, and arcane countermeasure. Your blood magic, imperious defense. Raw magic emanates from every cell of your body, protecting you. Till the start of your next turn, you gain either a +1 AC or +1 saving throw. I think this one's going to be a popular one. It is a basic... I'd say that a basic sorcerer would be an imperial one. But for sure. Like, just reading everything about it, a lot of these spells are multi-use and very much like a thing that most spellcasters will have or will need. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a popular one for sure. Then the undead. The touch of undead runs through your blood. Your family tree might contain powerful undead like a vampire. First thing you learn is glitter. I swear to God, if any of these spells use glitter dust, I'll quit. I'll never play Pathfinder again. All right. Tradition, divine, bloodline skills, intimidation, and religion. Sorcerer gifts, void warp, harm, see the unseen, bind undead, talking corpse, invokes the spirits, vampiric exsanguination, execute, canticle of everlasting grief, and wails of the damned. Yeah, no, definitely necromantic vibe. So yeah, I see obviously many necromancers being this one too. Bloodline spells, Undeath's Blessing, Drain Life, and Grasping Grave. Cool. Blood magic is stolen life. You channel the necromantic energies in your blood, either gaining temporary hit points equal to your spell rank that lasts till the start of your next turn, or take 1 void damage per spell rank. If the spell already deals initial void damage, combine this with the spell's initial damage before weakness. So yeah, so you basically just do extra damage with void damage. So if I plot to get some glitter bombs for Lashara, I'm gonna get cursed by Dag. No, it's just if you're a vampire. If you're a vampire and have glitter powers, like just no. Nailed it. Poof. Yeah, well done, Christina. Party vampire. All right, well, as far as the bloodlines go, I am very, very pleased with how all of them seem to have come out. I don't see that there's any that would stand out as something that you wouldn't see. I think the aberrant one is probably going to be the least seen one, only because between Imperial, Undead, Draconic, Elemental, I think those are going to be like so crazy popular. I think the others are going to kind of like fall into the waylay of that and, you know, only being kind of like used for specific stories. And the thing is I don't think too many of the average player know much about the aberrant creatures in the bestiaries and stuff. So I don't think we'd see many aberrant sorcerers. I hope we do. But that's my take on it. Other than that, yeah, so many great options. So many really powerful choices, and they all seem to have a huge difference between each and every one of them. You know nothing about it? Well, yeah. I mean, that's not in the least surprising, Britt. I know nothing. No, that's not in the least bit surprising. Most people don't know about aberrant creatures. Aberrant creatures are things like ropers and mimics and aboleths and other things that don't fit into any other category because they are an aberration of something, you know. And that's kind of the nature of them. 90% of the time you don't even encounter them until much later in the game, that many people don't actually know what they are. Mimics, of course, I think mimics are aberrant. Let me have a look. Hold on. Let's see. No, they are aberrations. Yes, they are. Oh, I have the question. You may ask the question, and I will hopefully have the answer. And then we will read sorcerer feats. You know what? I'm gonna order a muffin and a hash brown. No, fucking fuck every pause. Lataria, it's a bad dag, bad dag. Stop it. All right, what is the question? Flying away on a wind of prayer. Who could it be? Dad can cook the yum yum. Dad can cook the yum yum. Do you have any recommendations for systems for 1 player or 2 players? Or is the answer that I need to make more friends? Well, I mean that could always be an answer, but no, there are plenty of 1-2 player systems. Honestly, there is no system that you couldn't do that with. That is a very big question. There are definitely some good one-on-one RPGs out there for sure. Like City of Mist is one of my favorite ones. But that is more like your superhero type adventure. They do have a RPG. They do have a fantasy RPG version that has recently been kickstarted. But that's a good one for sure. I would say there are a number that I enjoy, like Through the Breach is a really good one for, a couple of people as well. It is a Wild West horror kind of game. Call of Cthulhu is also pretty good for a couple of players as well. What the fuck was it called? It is a game that I played. TTRPG, where for a computer as clones. Paranoia, that's the one. Haha, yeah. Paranoia, that's a good one. So Paranoia, the RPG, you basically play as clones in like a factory, and you just die constantly. Here we go. It's by Mongoose Publishing. Yeah, the Paranoia role-playing games. That's a good one. And yeah, I mean, again, Pathfinder, D&D, Kids on Bikes. Actually, Kids on Bikes is a really good one as well. All of these games, like Pathfinder and D&D, they're designed for 4 players, but the adjustment to make them accessible to 1 or 2 people is super easy. It's not hard at all. Can definitely help you with that. Walking Dead. Yeah, actually, Australis, that's a good point as well. Walking Dead's a good one. Yeah, what's Kids on Bikes? Kids on Bikes is an RPG that's kind of based on like the old era of cinema, where you would have a group of kids on bikes who would like go to the mall and go hang out, and then they uncover some kind of mystery. The adults don't want to really listen to them until, it's too late, and then the supernatural thing starts to happen, or maybe aliens have abducted someone or whatever. And then you find yourself like in the midst of it with maybe a adult who has somehow believed you and dragged yourself into it. It is a low risk game because, if I'm not mistaken, you cannot die in that system, but it is full of cool mysteries and stuff Goonies, E.T., It, Stranger Things. Yes, that's everything in the kids and bike genre. So yeah, that's very much it. So yeah, those are my recommendations. Okie dokie. Sorcerer feats. and don't worry, like I said, this is not any kind of helpful tutorial. I don't expect anyone to watch this post game, but I'm making it nonetheless. Okay, so Sorcerer feats. Kids and Bikes by teenagers in the 80s. Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. Very welcome. All right. Blood Rising, a reaction. A creature targets you with a spell of the same tradition as your bloodline. The magic surges in response to your foe. You generate blood magic, even if you already attacker must be you or the creature. You get a bonus to your AC or the saving throw. Equal to what? Oh, your blood magic. So if your blood magic. Wait. Okay. Either be you or the creature. If the blood magic. Oh, okay. So if you get like, let's say you're a hag bloodline, and your tradition is occult, you then get struck by an occult spell. Then this ability will, as a reaction, allow you to activate Retributive Smite. Or Spite. Retributive Spite as a reaction. That's fucking cool. That seems like a basic ability that everyone freaking needs. Alright, I like that. Familiar. You gain a familiar. Okay, cool. Reach spell. You can extend the reach of your spell. That's pretty cool. Tap into blood. You're benefiting from the effect of blood magic. Cool. The power of your blood allows you to perform a minor feat. Arcane. You temporarily open the secrets of the world. Recall knowledge using arcane instead of your normal skill. For divine, you step or reposition within your reach using religion check. You instinctively move yourself or others out of harm's way. What? You reposition using your religion? I mean, I like the logic, but that's wild. So it's like, oh no, I need to move someone out of the way. I'm going to move you to here. Why? Because smash, you know, something bad's going to happen there. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, using a religion to reposition someone. Weird. Okay. Occult. Strange mists swirl around you, concealing your movements. You step 10 foot. Okay. Primal immense power echoes within your voice. You can attempt a nature check to demoralize. Okay. Interesting. These are challenging my concepts of things. The arcane instead of knowledge. The religion instead of stepping or repositioning. The 10-foot move steps fine. And the nature instead of intimidate. Interesting. I guess it's one of those things that I know every time someone uses it, I'm going to be like, what? What? How do you do this? And then, yeah, just be confused. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I don't have to understand everything. I'm good. All right, widen spell. Increase the area of a range. So reach spell is the distance, and your widen is your yield, your space within. Okay, anoint ally. You forge a mystical connection using a drop of your blood, allowing them to benefit from your magic. You place a blood rune on an ally, which lasts for a minute. When you or an ally would gain a blood magic effect, you can forego it, granting it to the anointed ally instead. Ah, there you go. So you can spread the love of your magic. Cool. Bleed out. Make a ranged attack against the AC. Your attack deals persistent bleed damage equal to the rank of the spell you just cast. Okay, cool. So you basically just shoot blood at someone. Neat. Cantrip expansion. You get more cantrips. Enhanced familiar. You make your familiar stronger. Propelling sorcery. The force of your magic can be propel yourself or another. You channel your magic outwards in a rushing movement. Either step as a free action or move 5 foot in a direction of your choice. That is not an action. There is no action on that. I don't know if you guys can see this. There is no cost on that. The force of your magic can be used to propel yourself or another. You know the following blood magic effect. You channel your magic outwards in a rush of movement. Oh, okay. Maybe it'll cost you when you activate your blood magic. That takes an action. So that I think is the Yeah, I think that's just going to be an action, maybe. I wish it was slightly clearer. But yeah. Yeah, however you activate it. Oh, actually, that's a good point as well. Because remember, if we have that reaction that allows us to activate something, if someone fires at us, targeting us, and then we use this to step 5 foot, technically speaking, you're not in the square they're targeting anymore. Because that says target, right? A creature targets you with the same tradition. So yeah, you can dodge. You can basically just do a 5 foot step evade as a reaction. That's pretty dope. Pretty dope. All right. Arcane Evolution. Bloodline gives you arcane spells. Yada, yada, yada. You became trained in a skill of your choice. During your daily preparations, you choose one spell in your spell repertoire to be a signature spell. So you get another signature spell on top of everything. Okay. Bespelling Strike's a free action. The most recent action was to cast a non-cantrip spell. You siphon the energy into a weapon you're wielding or into an unarmed strike. Till the end of your turn, the weapon or unarmed strike deals an extra 1d6 force damage and gains the trait of your bloodline magic tradition if you didn't have it already. So you cast a spell, then as a free action, you bespell your weapon, and then your next attack with your weapon does extra damage. That's pretty cool. I like that. That is pretty dope. Oh. Okay, so Divine Evolution. You get additional spell slots, of which you can only use to cast Heal or Harm. You can cast either of these spells from this spell slot. So that forces you to specialize in Heal and Harm. Occult Evolution. You draw powers from the universe, can try to one to get trained in skill of your choice. Once per day, you can spend a minute to choose a mental occult spell that you don't know and add it to your spell repertoire. You lose this temporary spell next time you do your daily preparation. So every day you get to pick a new occult spell, mental occult spell. All right, so that gives you a bit more versatility. I like that. Primal, you gain an additional spell slot at the highest rank. You can use your ability to summon plants, animals, or fungus. Okay, cool. So yeah, okay. So these are kind of, these remind me of the old spell masteries that the cleric, the druid, and that they used to have. Where you could convert any spell into these spells. The evolution here seems to allow you to just tap into them now. So depending on your speciality, you now have these as options. So that's pretty solid, actually. That's kind of like, that's almost stepping, maybe in my mind, a little too close to Sorcerer potentially could be a better spellcaster than any caster of its type, with maybe the exception of the Wizard and Cleric. Maybe. Because Wizards have a bunch of extra stuff to boost their spells, and Clerics have channel energies in their domain spells. But yeah, I think that's pretty powerful. I think that's pretty out there. All right. Split Shot, fragment a range spell, hit multiple targets, easy. Advanced Bloodline, you get your next series of Bloodline abilities. Diverting Vortex, you create a magical vortex that gives you a bonus to your AC against physical, ranged, and unarmed attacks. Oh, sorry, ranged, physical, and what? Ranged weapon attacks and physical, ranged, unarmed attacks. Physical, ranged, unarmed attacks. What the fuck is a physical, ranged, unarmed attack? Like, does someone, like, you know, Gomu Gomu no, fuck you, you know? Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Energy Ward, free action once per turn. Your most recent action is to cast a non-cantrip spell that dealt energy damage. Throwing an object? Well, no, because that is a weapon. So that is a ranged weapon attack. Even a grenade, same thing. You convert energy from your last spell into a protective ward. Until the start of your next turn, you gain resistance to a type of energy equal to 4 plus the rank of the spell. Alright, so that's cool. So, in the one hand, you cast a spell, and then you turn it into a weapon. Or, you cast a spell, and you turn it into a shield. But they're both free actions. So technically, no, because then it wouldn't work, because the most recent action. So if you use Bespell Strike, even though it's a free action, it's still an action. So you can't use the Bespell Strike with the Energy Ward. Yeah, there you go. Go Gadget Fist. What if you throw Neil? I mean, yeah, I guess if you throw Neil, that'll work. Okay, Safeguard Spell. You are inured to the effects of your own spell. If the next action to take cast a spell affected you... Yeah, what? What does inured mean? So if the next action you take is to cast a spell with an area, you aren't affected by the spell, even if you're within the area. I don't know what inured means, but yes. So if you cast Fireball, you can go boom! Fireball right where you're standing, and you are now safe from that spell. Guys, girls, everything in between. I cannot tell you enough how dangerous that is going to be. That is insane. I think there are going to be a lot more TPKs when party members realize they can protect themselves and don't need to give a shit about, you know, their teammates. Hey, Cobra, good to see you. Hope you're reading the rules in the style of a one-eyed man talking about the big one in the fishing tavern. I can if you want. I'll do the next one. I'll do the next one in an old salty sea devil. But yes, we've just learned that sorcerers can take an ability that allows them to protect themselves from their own area of effect spells. To accept something undesirable. Oh, okay. I guess. Okay. Here we go. The next spell we be finding is the Spell Relay. A reaction. It triggers when an ally casts a spell, and ye be within the spell's range. Ye open the power of your blood to your ally's spell casting, using your own magic to boost their range. Ye ally can use you as a point of origin for their spell, calculating range and cover from your space instead of their own. This can open many doors or possibilities. Be it sheeting around a corner, or perhaps exploding and allowing the safeguard spell to be centered upon thee. Rest assured, lass and laddies, and all thee in between. 'Tis a dangerous gambit one plays when bouncing spells around like a barrel of unsecured gunpowder in the bilge of a ship. You're welcome. There you go. But yeah, Spell Relay actually does sound pretty fucking cool. I love the idea of so in Malifaux, which is the war game for Through the Breach, there's a character who actually has an ability called Ice Mirror that allows her to target people with her spells through other ice minions. So I love that idea that, you know, you can, you know, like, rather than being like, oh damn, I don't have a line of sight, I can't use my rays or my spells, and then this sorcerer's like, yeah, use me, I'm over here, okay, and then you go, okay, cool, and then you've just gone and then fired it off in a different direction. So that's fucking cool. I love that. Cinematic combat, people. That's where it's all about. Also, how are you? I hope you're doing well. All right, where we at? Steady spellcasting. You are confident in your spellcasting technique that you are more easily able to retain your concentration. Casting a spell would disrupt it is the DC 15 flat check. If you succeed, your action isn't disrupted. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, at level 6, roughly, you'd be looking at like less than 10. You'd be looking at a less than a 50% chance to make that save. So yeah, okay, cool. All right. We then have our bloodline resistance. Your magic blood makes you more resistant. You gain 1 to your saving throws and magical effects. Nice and easy. Cross-blooded evolution. Odd interactions in your blood often provide you with unexpected effects. Choose another bloodline. You know the blood magic effect of that bloodline. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I guess, you know, like, I mean, we've obviously know that Pathfinder is well known for the multi-classing thing called archetyping. Cross-blood evolution. Interesting idea. I like the idea. I'm also interested if you can take that feat multiple times and have multiple different things there. My memory is mind-blowing. I hardly know what day I'm on. I don't know what day I'm on. I throw that information out of my brain. But yeah, no, cross-blood evolution seems really interesting. I do like that. All right, explosion of power. Your magic explodes. You know the following blood magic effect. Raw power explodes outwards from you, each with a 5-foot emanation that takes 1d6 points of damage per spell rank. The type of damage is based on the tradition of the bloodline. If you cast an arcane, you deal force. Divine, you deal spirit. Occult, you deal mental. And primal, you deal fire. That's cool. So basically, you cast a spell. Oh, no, that's your bloodline thing. So emanating from you, you just explode outwards. Okay. So that's cool. Blood magic seem to be very, very generic. And I like that. I like the fact that you can have your unique spells, you have your bloodline specific spells, and then you have your generic blood magic powers, which is cool. Ooh, so multi-classing isn't a bad thing in Pathfinder? No, it's actually super easy. Barely an inconvenience. So the way to explain multi-classing without having to make an entire video about it is I want you to imagine that in Pathfinder, you do not need to pick anything beyond your primary class. Think of it like your base foundation for everything. You want to primarily, let's say you want to make a let's say you want to make a barbarian, right? A bard and a barbarian. Now, well, how do you build one? Well, first of all, you need to pick one of the two, right? A bard or a barbarian. Which do you want to be more of? Let's say I want to be a bard for the most part. Okay, cool. So we start with the bard and we start leveling up. Bard. When we get to, I want to say, the second level, possibly the third or fourth, no, possibly, yeah, it'd be the second or the fourth, right? At the second or fourth level of your bard, you can then take the barbarian dedication. When you do so, it'll give you the initial thing that barbarians are usually known for, which of course will be rage. You'll immediately get that in lieu of a bard feature that you would have otherwise gotten at that point. Then every time you level up and gain a class feature, instead of only having to pick the bard stuff, you can now pick the barbarian dedication abilities, which help you evolve more and more as a barbarian. So you'd still be leveling up as a bard, gaining the bard hit points, gaining the bard spells, gaining all the bard abilities as normal, but every even level, you would then be given a chance to use a class feature either from the bard list, which will have predominantly the most of your options, or a list of barbarian stuff that you'll be able to use as well. So yeah, you don't have to be careful with it. You don't have to be, you know, like you can do whatever. It's super easy, and all the classes function exactly the same. So every class has the same build, the same makeup. So multi-classing between a bard and a barbarian is exactly the same as multi-classing between a barbarian and a bard, or a cleric and a druid, or a wizard and a elf. No, you get what I'm saying. But yeah, it's super easy. Yeah, Pathfinder loved their archetypes and really honed in on making it the simplest way to multi-class. So now, yeah, you just take the class feature of the class you want, effectively. But they're called dedications, to make that clear as well. Okay. Level 10, Energy Fusion. You fuse two spells together, combining their energies. If the next action was to cast a spell that deals energy damage, select a non-cantrip spell from your repertoire and that deals a different type of energy. Expend the additional spell slot. You then cast additional damage equal to the rank of the secondary spell slot, and the spell's total damage is divided evenly between the two types. Oh, okay. So that one, okay, so I know initially it sounds like you're combining two spells. You are, but in a more... in a different way. Let's say I have Firebolt, which is a cantrip that shoots a little bit of fire. And then I have Ice Blast, which is going to do a massive amount of ice damage. So I do 66 ice damage. But rather than the Firebolt dealing my Firebolt damage, I then add the ranks of that spell as add the ranks of that spell to the damage of the 66. Then, instead of doing 66 plus the ranks in cold damage, I now do half fire, half cold. So it splits them evenly down the middle. So it's less about doing more damage and more about being able to break up the type of element or the type of magic you're using during that. I think that's cool. I think that's also going to be a really good way to help identify a monster's weaknesses. If you're unsure and it's like, oh, I'm fighting a troll. Okay, fire should work, but in case it doesn't, let's do fire acid and then split fire and acid down the middle. Shoot the troll. It took full damage and then took double damage on both. Oh, cool. It's vulnerable to both. Or it took no fire damage. Oh, no. But it still took double damage from the acid. Ah, cool. Where are you going to use acid? You know, learning stuff like that. So the Hulk would be a barbarian artificer. If I was to make the Hulk, I would say... It depends. If you went Hulk mode Hulk, as in it was just Hulk the whole time, would definitely be a barbarian. And probably an alchemist. If you were doing Bruce Banner primarily, and then the Hulk on occasion, I would do an alchemist barbarian. The reason being is when you Hulk out, there's mutagens that you can take that will ultimately Jekyll and Hyde you into the Hulk, as it were. So yeah, that'd be how I do it. Depends on if you want to play Bruce Banner more or if you want to play Hulk more. But yeah, and we covered that in one of the earlier videos too, I think. But yeah, alchemists are very cool. You have toxicologists, you have doctors, you have Jekyll and Hyde, like mutagenicists. You have a ton of cool stuff. Yeah, we got to sit down and talk about like getting you a D&D Pathfinder character. All right, greater bloodline unlocks, of course, the next level of bloodline. Overwhelming energy alters your spell to tear through an enemy's defense. The next action used to cast a spell. The spell ignores the amount of resistance equal to your level. Nice, that's pretty fucking dope. This applies to all damage. The spell deals including persistent damage. Ah, nice. So yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so yeah, just basically your spells have the ability to penetrate people by overwhelming them. So that's dope. And also don't apologize for side questing. Side questing is literally all I do. Okay, quicken casting. Okay, just basically makes it easier to cast spells, but that is only a once per day ability. So that's something to know. Quicken casting has always been a useful tool, like throughout all the versions of like D&D and stuff. Basically, it just means that, you know, instead of taking 2 or 3 actions to cast your spell, you only do 1, which means you have enough time to do another spell. But instead of making it cost more for the spell slots, they're making it once per day. So I think that works. Honestly, you really don't want to have like a rapid fire spellcaster in your group because it will leave very little for the rest of the group to do. You will not have people that will outpace the rapid fire damage of a spellcaster constantly using Quicken. So yeah. Signature spell expansion. You get another signature spell, which is cool. Blood Sovereignty. You will blood magic masterfully. When you would benefit from blood magic, you can choose to lose hit points equal to twice the spell rank as the energy of the blood is drawn out. Takes no extra action, and it benefits from 2 different blood magic effects. Interesting. Oh, so the restriction that you can only use blood magic once now gets removed at the cost of some hit points. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay, bloodline focus. I mean, look, it's a cool thing. I again, without playing these things, I don't know how well it's going to hit because obviously sacrificing hit points for a spellcaster is always going to be a do I really want to spend these hit points on this? Because I could just get bitch slapped into Kingdom Come. But I think that'll be an interesting thing. Is there a werewolf option in Pathfinder? There are a couple of ways one could potentially play a werewolf. Sure. Off the top of my head, there is a thing. Is there lycanthropy? So yes, as in is there okay, so the concept of lycanthropy, yes, it does exist. I'm pretty sure, let me just check here real quick. There we go. Let me just check this real quick. Yeah, that's true, OG. I definitely see it that way. Okay. Curses, 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 curses. Okay, here we go. Ancestry, Ash, Battle, Bones, Cosmos, Flame, Life, Lore, Tempest, Time. I'm pretty sure there is a lycanthropy curse somewhere here. Like, there are werewolves. Oh, you know what? Actually, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. 2 shakes. Yeah. It is not what I thought it was. It's fine. Okay. Oh, yeah, just be a kitsune. Kitsune can do exactly that. Yeah, I was thinking of the Beastkin Heritage. That was the one I was looking at. And there is a were creature dedication. Yeah, okay, that's what I was kind of looking for as well. So yeah, so you can multi-class into werewolf effectively is kind of the weird way of saying it. But yeah, those things are very, very doable. Vervixen. Yes, Vervixen is a thing. Okay, where are we at? Bloodline focus. By listening to the beat of your heart, you recover focus faster. Okay, nice. Love that. Greater physical evolution. Okay, you change your form once per day. You can use your special spell slot to polymorph into battle. As if it were a signature spell in your spell slot. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Arcane evolution or primal evolution. So those two spells I have read already. That is actually pretty dope. They basically turn your spellcaster entirely into a combat character. And those combat characters are no slouches. They are not pushovers in the slightest. Oh my god, Dagger. Kitsune, is that spelled wrong? Is my first ever character built in years. I never played D&D. I got so sick I couldn't play the campaign. Ah, Kitsune are actually pretty amazing in Pathfinder. They are given a lot of love in Pathfinder. 100%. Yeah. You could also be technically you could be a Kitsune werewolf. It'd be a fox that could turn into a person, who could turn into a fox, who could turn into a wolf, who could turn into a wolf fox, or wolf person, or fox wolf. My head hurts. Okay. Greater spiritual evolution. Your magical blood allows spells to be fully effective against incorporeal creatures. Your spells have the effects of the ghost touch property. They can target or affect a creature. Okay, cool. Protecting its consciousness, possessing another creature, even elsewhere. Okay, interesting. Oh no. Ah, don't crash on me. There we go. Okay. Okay, so you become more capable of dealing with incorporeal creatures. Interesting. Oh, actually, that does remind me. Boom. Okay. I forgot to send a message. There we go. Okay, done. Alright, magic sense. You have the literal sixth sense for magic. When you sense it, you gain detect magic. Yada yada yada. Alright. When you seek, you get the benefit of third level. Okay, so basically it functions as if you have detect magic on permanently. That's actually one of the most useful things. 90% of the time, you will have players who will constantly be like, I will cast detect magic, I will cast detect magic. I very recently came across a young person in one of my youth center games who every single chance he get is like detect poison, detect magic. And I need to kind of build into him that, I don't know if he's joking or not. Like, I don't know if he's genuinely concerned that the door is poisoned because he's searching for traps, or if he's just, you know, detecting poison because, you know, he can. So I haven't been sure, but I will, you know, like I'll say this, having that, just that aura of it so that you become aware of it when you're searching, that's just way easier and way cooler. Terraforming trickery. Paranoid, very paranoid. You know how to channel the transformative effects of your blood magic to alter your surroundings. You now know the following blood magic. Either each space adjacent to you becomes difficult terrain, or each space adjacent to you is no longer difficult terrain. This doesn't have any effect on greater difficult terrain and doesn't remove the damaging effect of hazardous terrain. Ah. Okay, that's cool. That's pretty dope. Leaping over... I had a fox get some of my chickens and tormented the ducks. Still couldn't be mad at it, leaping over and through the fence. They put a lot of effort in. They do. I do love foxes. They are pests in Australia. They are an invasive species or something akin to that. So they're not well liked in the farmlands, and you can't keep them as pets. So yeah, cool. All right, terraforming trickery. I do like that. I like the fact that that can go with everyone. You don't need to have a, you don't need to be primal or anything like that. Okay. Okay. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. I just have something I very abruptly need to do. Okay, done. Cool. Done and done and done. There was an ancient king who took poison every day so he could become immune in case anyone wanted to assassinate him with poison. Then one day his castle was overthrown and he tried to poison himself to avoid capture, but it didn't work. Jesus, that sucks. Actually, you know what's really funny? I've heard so many stories about like assassinations and poison. And side questing. One of the coolest stories I heard was about a king who only had one opportunity to be assassinated. It was an emperor in Japan, and he would go to the garden every day and smell the flowers and then go back in. It was literally like 30 seconds, and he could not like, again, other than that, there was no way to get to this guy. So there was no assassins that could reach him. No one could do anything. And every day, the emperor kept going in and out. Until one day, he keeled over and died. And no one could figure out how he did it, or how the assassin got through it. Turns out the assassin had gotten work at the whole thing, and had gotten work as a gardener, and had been dosing the flower gardens with like poison in the water. Not enough that anyone, who, breathed it in would suffer any effects. But if every single day you continue to dose yourself eventually, like the heavy metals accrued in their body, and he died because every day he was just ingesting more and more and more of this that was just not clearing his system, and yeah, he died. And he didn't have to do anything. He just worked there as a gardener and kept working there as a gardener, and yep, every day just a little more, that guy died. Get wrecked and ripped. So yeah, there you go. Okay, moving on. Bloodline Ascendancy. You could choose from 2 different effects. Okay, so yeah, you get to be affected by 2 different abilities, which is fine. Interweave Dispel. You have to have Dispel magic. You're weaving Dispel energy. Your next action is casting a single spell against the enemy, and you either hit the enemy with a spell or the enemy fails its throw. You can cast Dispel magic on the enemy as a free action, expending the spell slot normally and targeting them. Nice! So you can cast like a spell, hit someone who may have like some buffs and some defense, but as it hits, it then free casts Dispel magic at the same time. That's a really cool combination. Absolutely freaking love that. Okay. Done. Okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. Reflect harm. You can wrap yourself around like you wrap your magic around you like a cloak, causing those who dare to target you to suffer a similar fate. Those who harm you are harmed in return. The first time you take damage from a spell before beginning your next turn, attempt to spell creature on a hit. The creature takes the same amount and type of damage that you took. If you got critically hit, the creature takes twice the damage. Jeez, that's freaking ow. I love that though. That's level 14. That's the only gripe I have with that, is that's at level 14. I feel like you should get it way earlier. That is so cool. Being able to turn around and be like, ha, reflect your spell and deal damage to you. That's really cool. Ah, man. Oh well. Spell Shroud. Next action is cast a spell. You surround yourself in a 15-foot dense mist. So you cast a spell and so my thing here is sorcerers combined and sort of they don't listen to the rules that magic portrays. Like a wizard will go, here is Fireball. This is how Fireball works. These are the parameters that Fireball exists. And sorcerers go, let's make it bigger. Let's make it wider. And when I cast it, I'm also going to dispel magic on you. Oh, and I'm also going to emit this huge thing of mist. And it's like, what? No, you're casting Fireball. You know, I can see a wizard being so mad at a sorcerer because of just how inherently good at magic they are. Like, they weave it with little to no trouble at all. And I kind of dig that. Okay. Effortless concentration. You maintain your spell with hardly a thought. You immediately gain the effect of sustaining a spell, allowing you to extend it. And this is a free action, so you could sustain a spell for free. That's fucking dope. And then if you quicken... So hold on, wait, let's see. So, I cast a spell which is quickened. I then cast a regular spell. I now have 2 spells active. I start my next turn. As a free action, I am concentrating on the spell for free. And as the second spell, I am concentrating as an action, leaving me 2 actions remaining. I cast another spell, just a regular spell, which now means I am under the effect of 3 spells. In the following round, I use 2 to sustain the spell and a free action to sustain this as well, giving me 1 action. So I could sustain 3 spells, or I cast a spell, and quicken a spell. I can sustain up to 3 or 4 spells. Like, if I've cast them, I can just keep them active and just run around. That's nuts. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I think it was Emily Axford that played a wizard that was like, oh, you can just do that? Oh, cool. I trained for years to do that, but okay, whatever. Yeah, I remember that. That was like, yeah, I do remember that. That's adorable. But yes. Okay. Let's keep moving. God damn it. Okay. Greater mental evolution. Add one spell to your repertoire that you can cast from your arcane or thing. Greater vital evolution. You get divine or yep. So same thing. Basically, you're getting more spell slots. Scintillating spell. Your spell becomes a radiant display of color. Your next action is to cast a spell that doesn't have the darkness trait. Each creature that fails its reflex save against it is dazzled for 1 round. Those who critically fail are blinded. So basically, you just sparkle up your spells. Cool. Echoing spell. I think I'm going to like this one. You time the components of your spell with exact precision, setting up a resonance that duplicates the spell effect. If your next action is to cast a spell of 4th rank or lower with no duration, the spell energy reverberates and echoes, casting the spell a 2nd time before the end of your next turn without expending a spell slot. So, effectively, an echo spell, you could cast Fireball, it would explode, reverberate, and explode a 2nd time. Fuck, see, you know, remember that thing I said when I said Sorcerers are going to be way more popular? Yeah, Sorcerers are going to be fucked. That's just going to be it. Hey, what's up, Fate? North, good to see you. Hope you're home safe and sound after Gen Con. Hope it was all fun and games. Hope you had a great time. All right. We are reading the player core book, and we are going through some of the spell feats that that are available to the Sorcerer. We have just learned Echoing Spell, which at level 18 they can take in order for a level 4 or lower spell at the cost of 1 action to simply repeat itself. So if I cast Fireball with 2 actions and use an extra action to make it an Echoing Spell, it just goes boom, followed by boom. And that's just what happens. Get wrecked. Oh, no. Well, you know what? I'm sure it'll turn up. I'm absolutely sure it'll turn up. To be honest, I didn't take too many pictures. I'm not a picture person. You know, it's only when people ask me that I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. And that is just how I roll. But it was really good seeing you and getting to chat and hang out. That was pretty much my highlight of Gen Con, was being able to catch up with so many people. I know there were so many people who I couldn't catch up with, who, due to my injury with my foot, I had to, you know, like, kind of, like, I had to really be precious with the time that I had there, which I kind of, like, you know, I regret a little bit. Like, I wish I did have more time to spend with certain people, but you know, it was the way that I could make it, to as many things as I could. I was really gutted that I couldn't make the, like, anything pretty much like Saturday, Sunday night. But, you know, I had a few friends come by and keep me company, and that was really nice. That was really sweet. So yeah. Okay. Echoing spells. Where are we at next? Greater Crossblood Evolution. Okay, so again, Crossblood Evolution allows us to mix and match the bloodlines that we have. Greater Crossblood Evolution means that we can choose 3 sorcerer gifts granted by different bloodlines. So this goes back to what I was saying in regards to, I wonder if the Crossblood Evolution allows multiple. Because this feat exists, no, you can't. You have to take the upgraded version. So that's kind of cool. I do like that. All right, and then our 20th level, Blood Conduit. Your inborn magic lets you redirect your ambient energies. Your next action to cast a spell of 5th rank or lower has no duration. You do not expend the spell slot. What? Once per minute, you basically get a free spell of 5th level or lower at the cost of 1 action. So you just, cool. No use of the spell. That's cool. I'm curious as to if you had no spell slots, if that would still trigger. That would be my only question. But other than that, 20th level, it's not bad. I'd say, you know what, actually, because it's a 20th level, I'd say that if you were completely out of spell slots, you could still use that once per minute, absolutely, to cast a spell, even if you didn't have spell slots. I would say that. I hate getting photos of people. Everyone knows how to hold their phones. They look good in it, but I can't work it somehow. Yeah, look, I definitely know how to take photos and stuff like that. I just don't ever have a camera. I don't ever have a camera that I'm happy enough to do it with. Mine's like quite old and quite grimy, so all my photos tend to be a bit meh. And I can't reach the little like camera lenses. I mean, I'm sure I could if I get like some like, some extra stuff for them. But yeah, I just haven't. I really should. I really should. I'm not trying to do it right now. It's one of those things. Because the lens is so tiny and there's so many of them. How to know which one to clean. Okay. Bloodline mutation. Okay. Your bloodline is based on a specific creature. Q-tips and rubbing alcohol. Doesn't that melt it? Or melt the lenses? I don't know. Maybe. You permanently mutate to become more like the creatures of your bloodline. You gain an appropriate trait based on the creature. Aberrant, angel, celestial, etc. etc. You gain low light vision or dark vision if it's appropriate, and choose one of the following. If the creature associated with your bloodline has the ability to fly, you gain a fly speed equal to your land speed. If the creature associated with your bloodlines is aquatic, you become amphibious, able to breathe water and air equally, and gain a swim speed equal to your land speed. If your creature associated has resistance or immunity to acid, cold, fire, electricity, void, sonic, choose that type, and you gain your bloodline immunity or resistance to and gain 20 resist against that energy type. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's pretty dope. Hey, Jen, good to see you. Just point and click to make sure it's not shaky. That's all I do, yeah. Just from the early place in chapter. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll give it a go. Alright, Bloodline Perfection. You command the ultimate power, gain a 10th level spell slot. Spell Shape Mastery. Altering spells doesn't take you longer casting than normal. You can use Spell Shape single actions as free actions. Okay, so that is things like reach and widen and stuff like that, and split you can now do at 20th level for free. Now I think that one is going to be either bloodline mutation, because a lot of people are going to think like, morphing into a creature is going to be cool, or spell shape mastery. I think they're going to be the big things that people are going to take. But yeah, that's freaking amazing. I love that. Hey McClover, good to see you. Yeah, thank you for asking. My foot is feeling better. Today is my first day without my cane, which I'm kind of still taking it easy, but I am building up. I am definitely working towards it. I'm gonna try and take a walk out, maybe get a cup of coffee at the local cafe nearby. There's also a little like burrito place that I might get a burrito from. It's Sombreros, but they always douse everything in vinegar, so I don't know if I'll eat anything, but yeah. Ice and Elevate. I did ice and elevate. I did. Once I got back from the States, after I stupidly continued to walk upon my foot, because I didn't have to. And I want to stress this out. I didn't have to. And understand, I do not recommend that if you have ever broken, fractured, or even believe that you've done any damage to your hands, feet, because there are so many different multiple bones in there. Do not exacerbate them if you can avoid it for reasons. First primary reason is if you have fucked something up, you do need to go to physio, and that is a long, painful, and tumultuous period of time to do stuff. Now, for me, I am a previous professional martial artist. When I injured myself, I measured very carefully all my symptoms, everything that was happening. I made sure that I took regular breaks, regular rests, made sure it was elevated, made sure it was iced, made sure that I put as much weight onto my good leg as I could, which of course did injure my good leg because I wasn't getting treatment. The reason I wasn't getting treatment was because I found out later that it was $15,000 to get the x-ray, to get the boot, to get all the treatment that I needed from the States, and the ambulance ride as well. That is what it would have roughly cost me to get that shit done. So instead, I was kind of forced to have to wait until I got back to Australia, where it cost me $80 to to get looked into. Now, what would have been a 2-week recovery has become a 4 to 6 week recovery because of the stress I put on it. I knew that that was what was going to happen. I was prepared for it. I took all the measures to try and reduce that, and now it's only been a couple of weeks, and my foot is already starting to feel good enough to be walked on. So I cannot stress this enough. Do not exacerbate it. The only reason I did wasn't because I was being stubborn, wasn't because I was, you know, like I hate doctors, nothing like that. It was because force majeure, and more importantly, I wanted to make sure that while I was in the US, I was fulfilling every single one of my commitments that I made while I was there. Because, yes, I had people who were supporting me, I had people who gave me some pain meds, some anti-inflammatories, things like that, because I know how to treat that kind of injury. So, yeah, if you do find yourself in a similar situation, please, 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 please look after yourself, treat yourself well. And to let you guys know how, like, instant my, you know, like, hey, I don't need to walk anymore was, speaking of the devil, dreaded GM, ladies and gentlemen, give a big love to him, because when I got to the airport, Dread was there and can definitely attest to the fact that from the moment Gen Con was over, I was in a wheelchair. I had the wheelchair done. Dread rolled me around the airport for a while. It was a lot of fun. I got to hang out. Thank you, Dread. It's amore. Yeah, I amore you, buddy. But yeah, you know, like that's exactly it. I took care of myself because I knew where I needed to take care of myself and how to, so yeah. Mima, I miss you. I love you. I hope you're doing well. I know Dread's here, but you know, fuck Dread. You know, I hope you're doing well. It's been a very, very long time. I'm doing super good, living my best life, doing all the stuff, still streaming, still gaming. I send nothing but the best wishes and all of the love. I hope that, you know, everything that's happening for you, I hope everything is just absolutely awesome and amazing and stuff like that. You've been visiting New South Wales? Ah, that's awesome. I do want to come visit sometime. I do really, really want to come visit. Every time I do, it's usually me passing through. But I do want to come visit New South Wales, and I do want to come see Dread and all that other stuff. But yeah. Oh, you're flying out today? Well, safe travels, Mima. Safe travels. I hope that you land safe wherever it is you're heading to. And yeah. But guys, if you haven't checked out Dread is one of my dear friends, another Australian content creator, does a bunch of absolutely wonderful and amazing RPG related contents, as well as just one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. Over on their channel, they've done things from D&D to Call of Cthulhu, to just a ton of different stuff here. And yeah, please go and support this wonderful and bestest being. Let's see, did we give you a shout out when you raided in? No, let me give you a shout out here real quick. Boom. Shout out, Dreaded GM. Boom, there it is. Yeah, go check him out. Kick it East Coast side. Hell yeah. Ah, Squish, no. Also, Sumgen, good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well as well. It is good to see you. It's been a while. I hope you are doing well. Okay, as for what we're doing here, guys, what are we doing here? We are reading some Pathfinder books. We are reading Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered Player Core 2, and we are learning about stuff. We've just done the Sorcerer. We are about to kick in to the Swashbuckler, which is this lovely, handsome, frickin' Blade Master here, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm just going to very quickly... I'm going to very quickly duck to the bathroom, and then I will return, and we will then go into the Swashbuckler, which is the last of the new classes from this book. So yeah, you have to go, Christina. No worries, Christina. Take care. Be well. We will talk soon. We'll talk soon. I'll be back. What am I doing? I'll be back for Rise of the Reign of Winter tomorrow. Yeah, that'll be in the next stream. So yeah. Okay, y'all. Here we go. I love the little heart over the sword. Is there a little heart on the sword? Oh, that sword. Yes. Yeah, 2 little hearts. That's kind of cute. I thought you meant the sword that they had in their back. But yeah, that is kind of cute. I do love the design. By the way, I think the original designs were done by Wayne Reynolds. I don't know who this artist is, but this is the artist that's been doing all of their new stuff. Yeah, so I don't know who the new one is. All right, I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Yeah. I have returned. Greetings. Okay. Did you get the wrong book? I don't know. What book did you get? Yeah. If you're talking about the book that you've gotten in your, the black and white one that you posted in the Discord, you've gotten the right book. That's Player Core 1. This is Player Core 2. So this is just more stuff. This is like, yeah, it's like just more stuff. More classes, more races, more options, that's it. Player Core 1 covers basic rules and options. This one's just extra options, that's all. Yeah. You don't need it, but if you have it, great. You know, if you don't have it, yeah, that's it. Okay, where was I at? Yes, the Swashbuckler. Okay, here we go. Many warriors... actually, hold on, let me try this again. Hey! Why would you guys raid just as I'm trying to do vocal warm-ups? Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Reverend Eldridge, or Rev Eldridge. I don't know if I don't know if we've met. Nikki Nerds Out, I know. Hi, Nikki. Nice to see you. Welcome in the Rev Knights. I love that. That's freaking awesome. Guys, my name's Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. This is my place. This is my face. And you can find it here so many times during the week, doing the Pathfinder-y shaped stuff here in the Twitch space. Yeah, pretty much that's what we do. We just hang out, we chill, we do a variety of stuff. Mostly I do live plays. Today we're doing a DAG Reads, where I am doing first contact reads of the Player Core 2 book. You guys do Pathfinder 2? Nice, nice, love that. Now, to prefix this is not a tutorial, this is not a how-to. This is my first contact with this. So this is a very casual stream. We are just hanging out. We are just, you know, sharing tales, doing side quests. We did a Harrow reading earlier on just for fun. So, you know, hey, if you guys have any questions or if you just want to chat, that's what this stream's all about, really. So yeah. How did your session go? Were you playing games? Were you... Am I spelling that right? Yeah, I am. Hell yeah. Yes. Tell me all the things. How did your game go? What was going on? How did things transpire in your realm? And while we await an answer for this, again, guys, please go and check out Reverend Eldridge. I definitely, actually, you know what? I'm going to do that right now. Here we go. Gotta push the button. Here we go. Ooh, I love the artwork here. And let's hit the big old follow button. Boom, right there. Dag is now following. The next time you guys go live, rest assured there will be a Dag-shaped seat that I will be occupying and exploring Tales of Telluria. Tales of Telluria. I do love that. Ooh. I do enjoy this. And you are up to episode 17, so it's pretty early days. So yeah, okay, cool, rad. All right, done. Party's exploring a dungeon. Tension has been rising between party members. Ooh, spoopy. I love it. All right. Well, I cannot wait to check out your stream and see how all things are going, especially with our dear friend Nikki in the cast for this particular group. So, you know, there you go. All right, let's talk swashbucklers. Now, what is a swashbuckler? Before we begin, I like to give a little bit of history here. Now, swashbuckling is actually something that a lot of people mistakenly think is something that pirates do. Because, you know, yar, you're buckle your swashers and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Swashbuckling was actually along the same particular era of French combat as the musketeers and stuff. And people would often mistake it because, of course, like, you know, the French went out to sea, they kind of did a bunch of stuff there. But swashbuckling was effectively the use of a foil or the weapons that they used for dueling. And a buckler, which was a very, very tiny shield that they would use and would allow for a great deal of agility. This, of course, worked super well on board boats because, again, if you are carrying big, heavy shields and muskets and things like that, combat becomes very difficult on a moving vessel. But swashbucklers were very adept at it, which is why the transition sort of became that swashbuckling was considered to be, pirate-based. Really what it is a very elegant form that is based on your agility and your ability to manipulate the play between blades as they clash back and forth. A lot of maneuverability and a lot of things like a lot of French words, riposte, parry, whatever the word for advance is, I can't remember. But yeah, you know. So I guess in terms of expectations for the swashbuckler, I'm really hoping that we start to see a lot of cinematic combat starting to be mechanized here in this, because we saw some of that in the Sorcerer for sure. We definitely saw a bunch of it in the Monk. So now I'm hoping that that is just the flavor of this whole book, and everything is like, it's like, hey, look at how we can make this combat more dynamic and more cinematic, because that's, you know, if that is what Pathfinder's new direction is, I'm all aboard. Sign me up. I'm already signed up, but you know, like, there it is. Okay, so the swashbuckler. Let's do the voice. Many warriors rely on brute force, weighty armor, or cumbersome weapons. For you, battle is a dance where you move along. For you, battle is a dance where you move along foes with style and grace. You dart among combatants with flair and land powerful finishing moves with a flick of the wrist and a flash of the blade, all while countering attacks with elegant ripostes that keep enemies off balance. Harassing and thwarting your foes lets you charm fate and cheat death time and time again, with aplomb and plenty of fare. The fuck does aplomb mean? What is aplomb? They're just showing off at this point. Fucking, like, so when we, for those of you who have joined us from the raid, Dag has a criteria which comes to when he reads new material, and one of the things that he always looks for is called accessibility. Accessibility is a beautiful word. It's a wonderful word. It means how well a person will be able to digest what is being said here. Now, no one gives two fucks if you bought a fucking thesaurus and suddenly have learnt a ton of fucking different words. If I am trying to teach this to 10-year-olds, which, by the way, I do teach Pathfinder 2nd edition to 10-year-olds, right? And you use a word like aplomb, you're just showing off. Just freaking, you've already used enough words, right? You've already, like freaking riposte, you know, like, fair enough, I can give that one, you know? Freaking, what else was there? There was another one. No, I think that was it. Yeah, it was just Aplomb. But yeah. Good night, Jen. Sleep well. Aplomb, self-confidence or assurance, especially in a demanding situation. Okay, look, that word is perfect. It's an absolutely perfect word. But how dare you try to improve my vocabulary against my will? I did not ask for this. Oh, by the way, for those of you who have also joined, I am Australian. It's not just the hat. I am actually Aussie. We are very sarcastic people. I actually love the fact that I learn new stuff. I'm just whinging because that's what we do. Okay. Let's go through it. So, key ability is dexterity, not surprising at all. Hit points are 10 plus constitution, which is your standard fighter. Again, 6 is kind of your spellcastery level. 8, you're looking at kind of your, like, between caster and combatant. 10, you're looking at your average combatant. And 12, we are looking at your heavy tanks, so your barbarian. And what I presume to be some of the new martial classes that are coming out in October will likely also use the same thing as well. So, you know, there's that. All right, initial proficiencies. We have your expert in perception. Okay, makes sense. Expert in reflex and will. Interesting. That's good. I don't know if that choice is made because will is something that they would be good at, or they wanted to highlight the fact that fortitude is a weakness. So I'm not entirely sure on that one. But reflex definitely makes sense. Will, sure, why not? Trained in acrobatics automatically. Nice. 1 skill determined by your swashbuckling style. Perfect. And 4 plus your intelligence. This is good. That should at least cover most of the movement-based abilities and skills that you get as a character. So plenty for there, even if your intelligence isn't too high. Trained with simple martial unarmed weapons, trained in light and unarmored, cool, and trained in swashbuckler DCs, cool. Okay, so all that's pretty straightforward, all that's pretty standard. Like I said, the only thing I'm kind of like, you know, will make sense, I guess, but like if you are no matter what type of fighter you are, whether you're a dex-based fighter, like an archer or a swashbuckler, or if you're a barbarian, right? Fortitude, just for me, is a fighting stat. You need stamina. You need to be able to, like, I mean, imagine, as we were saying here, you're running around, you're dodging, you're weaving, you're parrying, you're doing a lot of stuff. That's still very, you know, that's still very energetic. It still requires a lot of vitality and a lot of stamina to do. So that versus will, which is, of course, your mental prowess, your ability to kind of, like, keep your wits about you. I don't know. I just feel meh about it. I understand why, because obviously fortitude is likely reserved to things like the fighter and the barbarian and stuff like that. And it doesn't add much versatility game mechanic-wise if they just copy that again. But, I don't know. I also wouldn't have been mad if Will just was also trained as well, and it was just, you know, reflex, like it was a high reflex thing. That would also be fine, you know. Okay. Once again, we are not going to go over any of the abilities that are translated through all of the different classes. Things like increases to your stats, your skills, your training, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, we'll keep going. Maybe they're trying to say that a swashbuckler is more intelligent fighter. I mean, maybe. I mean, I could definitely see them being perceptive, being able to, you know, sort of visualize the encounter that they're in, rather than like just charging in and sort of reacting. So maybe you're right on that, OG. Maybe. You know, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. It's just one of those like tiny little niggly things, which in the grand scheme of things don't really matter. Yeah. Maybe thinking ahead like fencing. Well, I mean, yeah, again, like even thinking ahead, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I can kind of see that. But see, that for me is more wisdom than it is intelligence, you know, which of course is your will save. So, you know, there you go. Swashbucklers would be a more charismatic fighter. I thought so too, to be honest. Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. But we'll see how we go. So, ancestry, attributes, gotta get out of panache. Okay, so this is our main mechanic here, panache. You care as much about the way you accomplish something as to whether you actually accomplish it in the first place. When performing an action with particular style, you can leverage this momentum of verve, the fuck is verve, to perform spectacular deadly maneuvers. The heightened state of flair is called panache. You gain panache by performing an action that has the bravado trait, such as tumble through, and additional actions determined by your swashbuckling style, which is seen below. Gain the bravado trait when you use them.
The GM might determine that the check to perform a particularly daring action, such as swinging from a chandelier or sliding down drapery, can gain bravado as a trait. These checks are typically involve at least a single action and a non-trivial DC. Normally, you gain and use panache only in combat encounters. When a combat encounter ends, you then lose panache. Powerful finisher actions, including confident finisher, can be used only while you have panache and cause you to lose your panache. Okay. Verve is enthusiasm or vigor. Okay, cool. So, panache is style, effectively. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at the style of things. Bravado is a currency that is being used as a mechanic, and you can expend your currency of bravado to make things better or worse. I mean, probably better, obviously. But like, to expand upon things that you're going with. So that's my take on this. The only thing I've got to kind of look at is, if you are playing a swashbuckler, be sure to be on your GM about stuff that might or should have bravado. Like if I say, okay, cool, I'm going to climb onto the back of this giant monster and start stabbing it in the neck, right? Now, what I would do as a GM is I would just go, cool, you make this check, you're trying to climb on it. As a player, I would say, is there anything I could do to maybe turn this into a, bravado check or something that I can use to earn bravado? And the GM might go, okay, well, look, just climbing up probably won't do it. But what if I said that up ahead of you there is a wagon, and the wagon has a horse with, that can kind of pull. So you run over and you whip the horse, and the horse is pulling you forward. And as it does so, you're going to use that momentum and then cut the horse loose, which will then cause the front end of the wagon to crash, tipping the back forward and using the momentum from that to leap onto the back of the giant to stab into it to grab it. Cool. Fantastic. That is bravado. That is panache. That is the whole thing. But I would, as a player, work with my GM. Sure, it shouldn't come down to your GM being the only person to come up with the idea, but you should have that back and forth dialogue. Your GM should know that they can have that conversation, rather than sort of saying, oh, you owe me panache. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be I am entitled to panache because I did the thing, because I described it. It's like, well, no, the GM does decide, but it needs to go back and forth. And as a GM, hey, don't be hard on yourself. You might actually just forget that they have this mechanic. You have 4 to 6 players at your table, You may just simply lose track of it. So it is going to be important for that too. All right, I like it. Precise strike. When you strike with an agile finesse weapon or an agile finesse unarmed strike, you deal 2 additional precision damage. If the strike is part of a finisher, the additional damage is 2d6 instead. So finisher, I think, is going to be a type of move that you can do. So 2 damage on every X amount of damage on every thing, and then an extra d6 instead on finishers. As your swashbuckle levels increases, so does your additional damage from sight at 5, 9, 13, and 17. So every 4 levels, it increases by 1, and the additional damage done by your finisher is 1d6. So my question here would then go, does that precision damage stack with rogue levels if I decided to take a rogue dedication? That would be my next question for that. Okay. Stylish combat. You get a +1 bonus to skill checks with a bravado feat. Nice. Okay, cool. Love that. And while you have panache, you gain a 5-foot increase to your move speed. All right, cool. Swashbuckler style. So these are now our breakdown of styles. Unlike D&D, which has their subtypes, this is more about your different styles of play, I guess. So we have the Battle Dancer. To you, a fight is kind of a performance art. You command your foe's attention with mesmerizing motions. You're trained in performance and gain the fascinating performance skill feat. When you perform, the action gains the bravado trait. So perform becomes a bravado skill. Battle Dancers were actually really cool. They were prestige class in some of the older editions. So I'm hoping that there is an expansion to this. I'm sure there is, but I'd really like to see some of the old stuff not necessarily come back, but be reimagined as well. So, there you go. The Braggart. You boast, taunt, and psychologically needle your foes. You are trained in intimidation. When you demoralize, the action gains the bravado trait. Oh, that's cool. But that could also be very dangerous. I'd say that you need to talk to your GM about that one, because ultimately, they're the one who has to sit there and deal with you just constantly berating them or being mean to them. So yeah, always be sure to tell your GM like, hey, my character is gonna be kind of an ass towards NPCs because that's his thing. If you're a confident GM who's okay with that, then just be like, yeah, sure, no worries, go, you know, give it your best shot. If you are a GM who may not necessarily like having people throw some, you know, like nasty shit at you, then just say, hey, look, don't go into too much detail. Just tell me that you're demoralizing him or that you're saying some, you know, mean stuff to him, and that'll be fine. You know, you don't need to role play yelling at me to get that bonus, you know. And that's okay to do as well, by the way. Yeah. All right. Fencer. Speaking of which, I think someone was mentioning before about the Fencer. You move carefully, feigning and creating false openings to lead your foes into inopportune attacks. You are trained in deception. When you create a distraction or feign, that action gains the bravado trait. Cool, nice. Easy one there. Gymnast. You reposition, maneuver, and bewilder your foes with daring feats of prowess. You are trained in athletics. When you grapple, reposition, shove, or trip, these actions gain the bravado trait. Okay, cool. I like that. Interesting, though, to see how something like that would work with an unarmed fighter. Be very interesting to see how that would work. Okay, I like that. The Rascal. You aren't afraid to use underhanded tactics to get the edge over your opponents. You're trained in thievery and gain the Dirty Trick general feat. When you use Dirty Trick, that gains bravado. Okay, cool. Easy done. Like, you know, kicking people in the balls. So I think this is... The Rascal is a nod to the pirate Swashbuckler, I feel. That's kind of where my head goes. I mean, Rascal's a good name. I kind of in my own head just like sort of replaced it with the word rapscallion. You know? That kind of, yeah, maybe. All right. Next up is Wit. You are friendly, clever, and full of humor, always knowing what to say. Your witticisms leaves your foes unprepared. For the skills and speed of your attack, you are trained in diplomacy and gain Bon Mot, the skill feat. When you use Bon Mot, it gains bravado. Now, tell me this isn't Tales of Monkey Island, right? The wit, the whole swashbuckling sword, you know, being able to, like, you know, be witty and, like, throw wordplay at people. Tell me it's not exactly that. I feel like the wit is just Guybrush Threepwood. All right, confident finisher. You gain the elegant finishing attack when you have panache. Your finisher trait describes on page 163, so that'll come up in a minute. Confident finisher. You make an incredibly graceful attack, piercing your foe's defenses. Make a strike with the following failure effect. Failure. You deal half your precise damage to the target. This damage type is of the weapon or unarmed strike. Oh, okay. So confident finisher. So when you attack, if you hit, you deal damage. If you fail, you still deal half your precision strike damage to the target. Okay. Cool. I do like that. I mean, it can still resist the damage and stuff, but I like the fact that, you know, it's a finishing move. It costs you a resource, but it'll do damage. So it basically turns your weapon damage into, you know, almost like a version of like save or half, you know, instead of all your weapon attacks and stuff being hit or suck, you know. But I like that. That's cool. All right, swashbuckle feeds, skill feeds, fortitude, yada yada yada. Opportune repose. Reaction. An enemy within your reach critically fails on a strike against you. You take advantage of any opening. As your enemy fumbles, you either make a strike against them or attempt to disarm them. That's cool. Ooh, that is really cool. That is also very interesting because in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you critically fumble not only if you roll a 1, but if you get 10 lower than what you need to hit them. So if you built your character right with like a decent amount of like defense and stuff, you could just get free attacks every time they critically fail, on top of whatever effect happens when they critically fail. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. All right. Skill increases, yep, as it is. Stylish trick. You get additional skills, which apply to acrobatics. So it's forcing you to make your acrobatics quite high, which, you know, is nice that you don't have to spend your money on it. Or you'll spend your, like, you know, increases on it. Vivacious speed. So yeah, when you have panache, you increase your speed even more. So you have a 10-foot move speed increase to 15, 20, 25, to a 30-foot move speed increase at level 19. That's very quick. Question is what do you do with that speed? Ancestry feat, weapon expertise. Hey, Bards of New York! How's it going? Welcome in. G'day, and how are you having your wonderful evening, I think, in New York? My name's Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. This is my place. This is my face. We do Pathfinder here. We chill out. We hang out. We, spend a bit of time talking TTRPG stuff. We're doing a DAG Reads, first contact of the Pathfinder 2nd Edition remastered player core book. We're doing the Swashbuckler. Tell us a bit about yourselves. What are you up to? You playing games? You hanging out? It says just chatting, but that can mean anything, Like, tell us about yourselves. And if you have any questions, do feel free to ask. To clarify, this is not a tutorial or anything like that. This is my literal first time reading this. So we're just chatting with chat. We're reading these rules and stuff. And for those of you who want to, feel free to ask. And again, if you're interested or curious about Pathfinder 2nd Edition, give our channel a follow. I do mostly live plays here on the channel. And I'm very audience friendly, very audience participation friendly. So, yeah, there you go. Okie dokie. Well, continuing onwards. As we were saying, with the Swashbuckler at level 19, that's a 30-foot move speed increase. I like the idea that the Swashbucklers are getting the move speed increases, but keeping in mind, Pathfinder does not have broken up movement. So if you've got a 60-foot move speed, you can't take a 30-foot move, make a single attack, and then move again without costing another action. So for me, when you have a large move speed, that's mostly to close distance. So I'm curious as to if there's more abilities in the Bard that are, in the Swashbuckler that are going to make use of that increased move speed. So that's what I'm curious about. Is these guys move quick? So what? What's that gonna mean? Hannah, nice to see you. Welcome in. Please make yourself comfy, pull yourself a tombstone, and come and join our other daggers and crypt fiends here on the channel. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask. If you want to ask me any random question, like what's your favorite pizza topping, you can also ask that as well. We are not a focused people at all. We are constantly side questing on random stuff all the time. So yeah, make yourself comfy. Okay, ancestry feed, weapon expertise, these are all basic. Confident evasion is a reflex evasion. Okay, so that's fine. That's nothing. Weapon specialization. Nope, we're fine. Everyone gets that. Exemplary finish. You execute your finishing move with spectacular flair, adding a special effect to your finishers. If a strike you make as part of a finisher hits a foe, you add one of the following effects based on your swashbuckling style. If you're a battle dancer, you step as a free immediate action after your finisher. If you are a braggart, if the foe is temporarily immune to your demoralization, their immunity ends. Your fencer, your foe is off guard until your next turn. For the gymnast, if the foe is grabbed, restrained, or proned, you gained a circumstance bonus to the damage equal to double the number of weapon dice you have. That's pretty cool. Rascal, the foe takes a -10 penalty to its speed until the end of your next turn. Okay, and with the wit, the foe takes a -2 to their attack rolls against you until the start of the next turn. So all of those are actually really cool additives to your finisher. I think my favorite one is the Rascal. Like, knocking people's move speed down means they're not able to run away or maneuver nearly as quickly. So that's actually pretty dope, and I'm very happy for that. Lol, what actually is your favorite pizza topping? Mine is green pepper and sweet corn. Green pepper and sweet corn does sound actually really tasty. If I had to say my favorite topping, favorite type of pizza, I do love surf and turf pizza. So I love like bits of steak and prawn and stuff like that. But my go-to pizza, and I know it's super basic, my go-to pizza whenever I go to try a pizza place for the very, very first time is always going to be just a margarita. Now, I know that sounds very boring and lame, but the thing is, a good margarita, like a good margarita, is very hard to come by and very hard to do well. If they cannot get a margarita right, I will not order anything from that place. Like, I will just skip over that place entirely and be like, nah, I'm good. But a good margarita, like basil and just the olive oil, the cheese and stuff like that, like everything, just nice, simple, crispy crust. Yeah. Cannot go wrong. Just can't go wrong. always in the mood for it. Yeah, pepperoni is also good. Yeah, pepperoni is great. But yeah, depending on the mood, like if you give me like a like, it's got like chili, it's got like chili, it's got like onions, it's got like steak, some barbecue sauce, some bacon, some prawns, you know, stuff like that. A good surf and turf, just nail it. Yeah, I will eat that. I will destroy that. But yeah, I probably eat more margaritas than anything else. And I know that's weird. But yeah, I want to go, because I was gonna say I want to go to Italy. I'm going to Italy. Fucking what? I am going to Italy. So guys, also all donations. If you want to go check out my Discord, I have a pre-show donation channel in there because we don't take donations for Dag Reads. But I am saving up for my Euro trip, which is coming up soon. So you know we're doing that, and I will be going to France. I will be going to Italy. And yeah, when I'm in Italy, my intention is to absolutely go to town on an authentic margarita pizza somewhere when I'm in Italy, as well as lots of pasta. I want to, fuck, what's it called? Begins with a C. Sicily? Maybe? No, it's not Sicily. Fuck, I don't remember. It's an island. There's an island off the coast of Italy that I want to go to and have a margarita there, because there's these cafes on the beach that just do like stone oven pizzas, and there's this place that I've always seen that I've wanted to go to that has just these magical fucking looking margaritas. Just looks so fucking good. Anyway, yeah. Side tracks, like I said, freaking side quests. Okay, where were we at? So the exemplary finishes, yeah. Love them. They're really good. I think they're great. Swashbuckler expertise, continuous flair, while not equal to your panache in combat. Have dramatic 6 million stylish combat. Okay, hold on. While not equal to your panache in combat, you have a dramatic flair about you in any situation. The circumstance bonus from stylish combat now applies in exploration mode. Cool. So now you don't just have the stylish stuff in combat. You now also have bonuses to your skills outside, which is cool. Be careful with olives in Italy. A lot of places don't remove seeds. Well, that's okay because I don't really like olives. I know. I tried them recently. I feel I like the mouthfeel of olives, but the taste just doesn't do it anything for me. Like, I also don't like too many pickled things either. So there's that too. Hey, Vancouver, good to see you. Welcome in. We're reading a book, Player Core 2, Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered. We're talking about the Swashbuckler and just reading through and just learning stuff and talking casual stuff. We were just talking about pizza, you know, like, yeah, we just talk about things. Okay. Because again, this is not a helpful video. This is not a how-to. This is not that. This is my first exposure to stuff, and you guys are just getting my reactions as, you know, as I'm making them. So yeah, okay. Where are we at? Continuous flair. Yep. Perception mastery, assured evasion, light armor proficiency, weapon mastery, greater weapon, keen flare. What does that do? When you strike with a weapon or unarmed attack in which you have mastery proficiency, if you roll a 19, you critically succeed. Nice. So this is the effective version of the keen or improved critical ability. So that makes sense. That's cool. Reinforced ego. You've steeled yourself. That's a bonus to your will save. Eternal confidence. Level 19. You swell with confidence in every attack. Your proficiency rank of your swashbuckler DC is increased to master. When you strike as part of a finisher or an opportune repose, you can give the strike the failure effect of the confident finisher, including the increase of the precise finisher if you have that feat. So your reaction slash now also can never miss. Because, well, it can miss, but if it misses, it still does damage. So that's actually pretty cool. You love the design art on the Swashbuckler? Yeah, me too. I actually really do. It is very intricate and very ornate. I've said this before. The original artist was Wayne Reynolds, who does a lot of Magic the Gathering cards and stuff like that. I know he did the original design for the Iconic. I don't know if this art specifically was him or someone who did, you know, like made the art again. But it's so good. I do love this style very much. Yeah. Okay. Light armor mastery. Yep, easy done. And now we're into feats. Okay. Before we get into feats, let's learn some of the terms here. Okay, so we have Bravado. Actions with this trait grant panache, depending on the result of the check involved. If you succeed at the check, the Bravado action, you gain a panache, and if you fail but not critically fail, you gain a panache, but only till the end of your turn. These effects can be applied even if the action has no other effect during the turn. Okay, cool. Finisher are spectacular finishers that use your panache. They can only be used with weapons that deal additional damage with precision damage, or finesse melee weapons or unarmed strikes. You can only use a finisher if you have panache, and if you lose panache immediately after performing the finisher, and you lose your panache immediately after performing a finisher. Once you use a finisher, you cannot use actions that have the attack trait for the rest of your turn. Some finishers also grant the effect on a failure. Effects that add on failure don't apply on a critical failure. If your finished action succeeds. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I think panache, you can only have one panache, is what I'm understanding, maybe. And when you've used a finisher, you cannot make any more attacks, and you lose that panache. Meaning that you shouldn't open with a finisher, which makes perfect sense. And this is a very long-winded way to say it. So if I have 3 attacks in a round, make my first attack to attack, my second attack with a negative penalty to my attack bonus, and my third attack I can use as a finisher in order to, even if I miss, as long as I don't critically miss, I still get to do a little something based on whatever finisher I use. Or I can make an attack, then with my second attack do a finisher, but with my third, I can't make a third attack, but I can move or parry or do something that isn't an attack, which I think is cool. Okay. Whew. Flourish. Actions with the flourish condition are special techniques that require too much exertion to perform frequently. You can only use one action with the flourish trait per round. Okay, so that's just a restriction on the action itself more than a... Oh yeah, flourish abilities do this. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Up. Sorry, a friend of mine is asking me to lunch. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. Done. Sweet. Let me just... Sorry. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, a friend of mine just was like, hey, I heard you're Fritz fuck. Do you want to have me to come over for lunch and stuff? And I was like, oh, that's sweet. So that was very nice. That was super nice of him. Okay. Now, back to the Swashbuckler. So now we're at the Swashbuckler feats. Oh, wait, no, sorry. But what I'm saying. Stances. A stance is a general combat strategy that you enter by using an action. So this is very similar to the monk stances. Lasts until you get knocked out of it or until its requirement, if any, is violated. Until the encounter ends or until you use a stance action again, whichever comes first. After you take an action with the stance trait, you cannot take another one for 1 round. So you can't stance for 3 rounds, apparently. You can enter or be in a stance in only in encounter mode. You cannot be in a stance in exploration mode, meaning you cannot take a stance outside of combat. That's an interesting restriction. I would, like, for example, if you take up a stance and you are readying to attack, I'm just very interested to see how that plays out. So, interesting. Okay, I'm not going to argue it. Like I said, there's probably a lot to take into account. But we'll have to read the feats. So let's go. So, disarming flare. You knock the weapons out of your hands of your foe with style. When you use a disarm action, it gains bravado. Okay, cool. So disarm gains bravado. Obviously, you don't need it if you have what's it? Oh no, you do need it. Okay, so yeah, no. So I thought maybe Fencer had that thing. So yeah, okay, cool. So when you disarm, you have bravado. Yeah, done. Cool. This is definitely not a class for beginners. You feel? I resonate with that. I don't think this is for beginners, but I do think it is for people who are very cinematic with their combat. I think. I would say tier-wise, with tier 1 being the easiest to use, like the fighter and stuff like that, and tier 5 being something complicated, like the wizard and the like the wizard, for example, or the oracle, or the thaumaturge. Yeah, wizard and thaumaturge are probably at the 5. I would say the swashbuckler is at a 4, maybe 3 or 4, somewhere between there. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, maybe I'll do a playability tier list. How easy it is to play. Yeah, maybe I'll do that as a video. There we go. Hi, Cass. Okay. The Elegant Buckler. You've learned a flexible way to position your buckler to provide more protection. When you raise shield to gain circumstance bonus to AC, increase the bonus from 1 to 2. Nice. While having a buckler raised, if a creature critically misses you with a strike, you gain panache. Okay, that's pretty cool. Like that too. Please do a tier video. That would be amazing. Yeah, I'll do. You know what? I'll do one. I'll do a tier video. Okay, then where are we at? Extravagant Parry. You're wielding one or more one-handed weapons. You use one-handed weapons to parry with style. You gain a +1 circumstance to AC until the end of your next turn, or +2 circumstances if you have a free hand or are wielding a weapon with the parry trait. You lose the bonus if you no longer meet the feat's requirement. If a creature misses you with a strike, while you have this bonus, you gain panache. Okay. Cool, I like that. So a big focus on your defense, which of course, if you defend, you then get your reaction to stab. So extravagant parry is an action. So what you could do is you use an action to raise your shield. With your elegant buckler, you gain an extra bonus. Then extravagant parry, which will then of course give you an extra bonus, which then hopefully you've got a decent bonus of your own. And if you dodge, then stab. Okay. So I'm already kind of starting to see the evade and strike strategy here. Arm isn't broken. Pain levels would just be similar. Is it fractured, Cass? Let me know. Do you have a fracture, or is it like just bruising? Because if you bruise the bone, that also sucks, but you know, it's not quite as bad. Okay. All right. Flashy dodge. A creature you can see targets you with an attack, and you aren't encumbered. You definitely dodge out of the way, getting a +2 to your AC against the triggering attack. If the strike misses you, gain a panache. Okay. Not bad. Flashy dodge. But I think at that point, you'd have to decide if you're dodging or if you're making that, you know, stabby attack. Maybe. Bruised elbow. That sucks. Ugh, yeah. I said no fractures, but a very high grade of bruising and chemical burn. That sucks. Yep. Yep. That is unfortunate. Well, speedy recovery, my friend. Flying Blade, precise strike. You apply your flashy techniques to throwing weapons as easily as melee. You apply your precise strikes, precision damage on ranged strikes you make with thrown weapons within that first range increment. Thrown weapons must be an agile or finesse weapon. They also allow you to make a thrown weapon ranged strike for confident finisher. That's cool. So now you've gone from just swashbuckling with a sword to throwing blades with with daggers. So that's kind of cool.
Goading Feign. Trained in Deception. Your tricks overextend their attacks. On a Feign, you can use the following success and critical effects instead of any others that you would gain from using Feint. Feign, by the way, is just your ability to dodge. You're basically like, huh! You're like faking an attack so that they lures them into a counterattack, which you will then attack with. You can choose whether Goading Feign benefits from the normal benefits or if you gain these. So critical effects. Target takes a -2 to all attack rolls against you. Success. Target takes -2 circumstances against the next attack roll before you end your next turn. So yeah. Okay. So penalty to their attack versus being caught off guard. So that's okay. I dig that. One for all. Ahaha! The Musketeers. All for one and one for all. Catch your pants before they fall. No, that was from Casper the Ghost. Okay. Trained in Diplomacy. With precisely the right words of encouragement, you bolster allies' effects. Designate an ally within 30 foot. This action counts as a sufficient preparation to aid ally. When you use the aid action to help that ally, you can roll Diplomacy in place of the usual check, and the ally gains the Bravado trait. Nice. That's cool. So basically, yeah, you're encouraging your allies with buffing. So, yeah. You know how in games, how people will say, oh, can I just like encourage him to like, you know, do better? And is that going to give him a boost? I feel as though I've been very lenient with that because, I mean, yeah, why not? Why can't you encourage someone? But now there's an ability for it, which means I don't know if I can allow that anymore. Yeah, I don't know if I can allow that anymore. I feel like other people need to be like, no, you have to be there and aid them. Like, use the aid other action. You can't actually just yell at them to give them support to aid them. Dang. Okay, yeah. What about distraction? He just generate anti-aid. That can be kind of funny. Use an action to like just make someone mess up. Okay. Plummeting roll. Trained in acrobatics. Trigger, you fall. Okay. Through nimble movements, a graceful landing, and a bit of luck, you manage to fall from a spectacular height without a scratch, gaining catfall and the following reaction. Plummeting roll. You fall 10 foot, take no damage from the fall. You tuck and roll with emotion, landing on your feet and stride up to half your move speed. Okay, that is basically just slow fall on crack. You, instead of taking damage from falling, you roll, move half your speed for free. Just as a reaction. Pretty cool. There is a distracting strike feat. Ooh, okay. We haven't gotten there yet. Have we? No, we haven't. We have disarming strike. But yeah. You're next. Ooh, I love this one. Trained in intimidation. You reduce an enemy to 0 hit points. After downing a foe, you promise that you're coming after them next. And make an intimidate check with a +2 circumstance bonus to demoralize a single creature you can see. If you're legendary, you can use this as a free action with the same trigger. Choosing to target multiple creatures normally, or target one as creature and fascinate it on success. So, you can demoralize a crowd, or demoralize and fascinate one person. That reminds me of a 3.5 feet. It was like, what was it called? Like Deadly Performance or something like that. Fuck, I can't remember what it was. But I like the fact that they've made a nod to that. That's super dope. Very happy for that. All right. Next up is After You. Ooh, a free action. You were about to roll initiative. You allow your foes to make the first roll in an incredible show of confidence. You don't roll initiative. Instead, you voluntarily go last. You gain panache. If one or more characters use this ability or ability to go last, use the normal rules for resolving and tie. NPCs and monsters act before PCs, and with those groups, the creatures can choose whichever order they want. Okay. Interesting. So it's just a free panache at the start of combat, if you choose to go last. Interesting. Not a terrible idea for certain builds, for sure, but I like it. That's actually one thing I've actually liked about Pathfinder compared to D&D, is that you cannot change willingly your position in the initiative, whereas in Pathfinder you absolutely can. And in this case, you can even predetermine
that you're going to go last in order to gain an extra bonus. So I kind of like that. That's cool. That is really cool. All right. Antagonize. Your taunts and threats earn your foe's ire. When you successfully demoralize a creature, its frightened condition cannot decrease to less than 1 at the end of its turn until it either uses a hostile action against you or can no longer observe or sense you for a round. So antagonize is a good way to also taunt people. To basically say, cool, demoralize. You are going to stay frightened until you come hit me. And that's actually pretty dope. That's actually cool. So swag going last? Yeah, it is. It is. Honestly, yeah. It also means that people can't resist. And every chance they have of using reactions is pretty much over by the end of the round. So yeah. Brandishing draw. You draw an attack with the same motion. You interact to draw a weapon. Then either strike or use a one action finisher. You must meet any requirements to use a finisher, and any strike must be made with the weapon you've drawn. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's cool. Because normally it does take an action to draw a weapon, but in this one, draw and stab. Cool. Hey, no worries, OG. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Let's see, how many pages is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pages. Cool. So 4 pages will be done. And yeah, you know, you'll get to see a lot of this stuff in, you know, the games as we play forward. So yeah, have a good night. Rest well. Okay, that was Brandishing Draw. Brandishing Draw, that is a pretty top tier ability. I'm very happy with it. Then we go to Charmed Life. But reaction prerequisite is your charisma has to be 2. You're attempting saving throw, but you haven't rolled it yet. When danger calls, you have a strange knack for coming out on top. You get a +2 circumstance bonus on the triggering save. If you succeed on the triggering saving throw, you gain panache. So Charmed Life. So do you remember how we were talking earlier on about how charisma should be like kind of like a thing, like they kind of luck their way out of stuff, or you know, like things? I think this is that in that body, in that sense. So I'm pretty happy with that. Sorry, one moment. Okay. All right. Enjoy the show. You address an ally or any onlookers to your combat, flaunting your foes how little attention they require. When you perform, you can choose a single creature within 30 foot and use the following success, critical success, and critical failure instead of the normal. Okay. Cool. Let's see. So, and performance gains the bravado trait, as well as auditory and linguistic traits for normal oration. Critical success, -2 penalty to attack rolls against creatures other than you. Okay, that's cool. Success, -1 against creatures other than you. Critical failure, they gain a +1 bonus when targeting you. Okay, so again, another thing that helps boost up the whole taunting thing. So, you basically make a performance check. They then have, if you succeed, they either target you or they suffer this penalty. So there is kind of like this incentive to attack you, because if they don't, yeah, that's going to be harder for them. It could also be really annoying, because if you do that, that could potentially also be in the vein of a distraction. So while, say, your tank is like at the front hitting people and defending, you could do this in the background while fighting other people, and then that person who's attacking the tank now has penalties against that, unless he disengages with your tank and goes over and fights the Swashbuckler. So there's a lot of really cool strategies that could really come into play with that. Finishing follow-through. Finishing a foe maintains your swagger. You gain panache whenever you bring a foe to 0. Sweet. Nice, easy, elegant. Love it. Retreating finisher. You make a calculated attack without letting down your guard. Make a melee attack with the following failure effect. As you fail, you step as a free action. That's super useful. means that they have to take an action to move up and to engage with you. Yeah, it definitely helps with combat action economy. Tumble behind, you tumble puts your foe on the back foot. When you tumble through, you tumble through a foe that is now off guard for your next attack. That's a good way of using it. I want to say I've seen Neil do something similar a bunch, but he's not been able to make them off guard, but that's kind of cool. I like this. Unbalancing finisher. You attack with a flashy assault that leaves your target off balance. Make a melee strike. If you hit and they deal damage, the target is off guard until the end of your next turn. Okay, so another way to kind of like, again, knock people off guard and stuff. All right. Dastardly dash. You dash past an opponent, confounding them with underhanded tactics. Stride up to half your speed, then attempt a trip or dirty action. Okay, so this is now how we make use of the speed that we were talking about before. Because normally you know your movement ends when you stop moving, and then you have to use another move action in order to continue moving. Whereas Dastardly Dash is now the first ability that we've seen where an attack happens as part of a movement. So you move at half speed, but then you get to make an attack within the range at any point during that movement. So you can move basically near enough to hit them, trip them up, and then keep moving. So that's cool. All right, even the odds, free action once per 10 minutes. Your turn begins. You're being flanked. You flash of confidence and smiles. You just gain a panache. So if you're being flanked, you just gain a panache. All right, that's cool. Flamboyant athlete, expert in athletics. Your panache now allows you to perform incredible feats, climbing, swimming, and leaping far beyond your normal capacity. While you have panache, you gain the following benefit. You gain climb and swim speeds equal to half your land speed. Again, benefit of your increased speed. The DC of your high jumps and long jumps decreases by 10. Doesn't combine with other abilities that reduce the DCs. Your distance you can move with your leaps is now increased. So yeah, okay, cool. So these are just general movement and maneuverability feats. I think at 4th level, it's not a terrible one for sure. Definitely not a terrible one. Guardian's Deflection. An ally within your melee reach is hit by an attack. You see the attacker and gain a bonus +2 against the AC. And if that would turn a critical hit or the hit into a miss. Wait, hold on. Oh, that's the trigger. An ally within your melee receives a +2. Okay, so if they are hit, if an ally within reach is hit with a melee attack and a +2 would turn a critical hit into a hit or a hit into a miss, and you are wielding a single weapon. You use your weapon to deflect the attack against the ally, giving a +2 circumstance bonus to the triggering attack, turning the crit into a hit or the hit into a miss. You gain a panache. Okay, so the advantage is that to use this ability, you get to know that the ability is going to work beforehand. So that's also a huge benefit. Like, even just knowing that it's going to work is the whole thing, you know? Okay. Where are we at? Impaling Finisher. Okay, so this is another finisher here. You stab 2 foes with a single thrust or bash them together with a punch, making a bludgeoning or piercing strike, and compare the attack against the AC of up to 2 foes. One foe must be adjacent to, the other foe must be adjacent and directly behind the first foe in a straight line. Roll damage and apply it to each creature you hit. An Impaling Finisher counts as 2 attacks when calculating your multiple attack penalty. Okay, so you make your attack with the first hit, it strikes that person and strikes the person behind them, but it counts as though you've made 2 attacks. This attack, however, has no attack penalty And because it's a finisher, you can't follow it up with an attack anyway. So in regards to that, that's actually not a bad trade-off. That's actually pretty solid, to be honest. So yeah. Okay. I deal it. I dig it. I really dig it. Like bards without magic, and they have shields and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty out there. All right. Leading dance. Trained in performance. Your requirements. You are adjacent to an enemy. You sweep your foe into a dance, attempting a performance check against the adjacent enemy's will DC. Critical success. You sweep them up, and you both move 10 foot in the same direction, remaining adjacent to one another. A normal success as a critical success, but you only move 5 foot. A failure, person doesn't move following your steps. You, however, can move 5 foot. Critical fumble, you stumble and fall prone. Don't critically fail on this. Swaggering initiative. Free action, you're about to roll initiative. You swagger readily into a fight. You gain +2 circumstance to your initiative and can interact to draw a weapon. If you're the first to act in combat, you gain a panache. Okay, that's pretty dope. Twirling throw. You need flying blades, which is their throwing weapon tree. Your thrown weapons seem to defy physics as they soar through the air and spin back to you after a strike. Make a thrown weapon attack, ignoring the penalty, making the range with your second and third increment. The weapon returns to your hand after the attack unless you critically fail. Okay, cool. All right, nice. So yeah, basically you Captain America shield things. It doesn't have to be. What does twirling throw do? Sorry, 1 second. Flying blade. There's a thrown weapon. Must be agile or finesse. Okay. So I'm curious if you can get a shield to do that. That's my only question. Is can you get a shield to be an agile or finesse weapon? Because that would be kind of dope. Yeah, I do like that. Hey, nice to see you, Pixie. Okay. We are reading through the Player Core 2 book. We're reading the Swashbuckler and some of the feats that they're available. And reacting. This is just a first contact kind of stream. Okay, agile maneuver. Expert in athletics, you easily maneuver against your foes. Your disarm, grapple, reposition, shove, or trip have lower multiple attack penalties. Even if your weapon or unarmed doesn't have the agile trait, the penalty is -4 and your second attack is -8. Okay, if your weapon or unarmed is agile and you have the panache, it is further decreased to 3 and 6. Okay, so that's cool. So, yeah, basically, multi-attack penalties are now being lowered by quite a bit. Specifically, disarm, grapple, reposition, shove, trip, and etc. So, when we talk about cinematic combat, we talk about, like, a lot of the stuff that we can do in combat that isn't necessarily just dealing damage. Dealing damage, for me, is always like a shin-kicking contest. I kick your shin, you kick my shin, I kick your shin, back and forth. But when you get to a point where you are actually weaving in things like combat, like I trip this person up, and then I use a grapple check, and then I'm going to use throw to kind of hurl that person into the fucking ether, right? That for me is like where we're actually doing stuff. Because yeah, I've had 3 actions, and I'm not just doing damage, I'm actually doing cool, exciting, and fun things. And the Swashbuckler is capturing a lot of that, which I was hoping for, and with this ability that helps you reduce the multiple attack penalty on those maneuvers, that's brilliant. I love that. Also, hi Neo. Could we schmoopy it and dual wield shields? I mean, maybe. Combination finisher. You combine a series of attacks with powerful finishing blows. Your finisher strikes have a lower multiple attack penalty, even if the second attack penalty, yada yada yada, if it's third attack, etc. Okay, so yeah. So now, even if you've done a multiple series of attacks, your finisher now also gets a reduced penalty, which is cool. So yeah. All right, precise finisher. Confident finisher is required, which I think you get at level 1, so I don't know why that's a thing. Confident finisher? Let me just check. Yeah, you get that at level 1. Oh, maybe because if you are multi-classing, you can't use it. That's the thing. Okay. Even when your foe avoids a competent finisher, you can still hit a vital spot. On a failure with a confident finisher, you apply your full precision damage instead of half. Okay, that's cool. Reactive strike. So this is our attack of opportunity. So that's going to be it as well. Pixie. Aye. Goes very, very well. Yeah, just chilling out. Nice, relaxing, easy stream. Okay. Next up we have Vexing Tumble. You tumble around your foe, expertly avoiding their reactions. Stride up to half your speed and roll an acrobatics check. Compare the results to reflex DCs of each enemy whose reach you began in or entering during a movement in sequence. Critical success. This movement doesn't trigger reactions from the enemy, and the enemy is off guard to you until the end of your turn. Success. This movement doesn't trigger reactions from the enemy. Critical failure. Your movement immediately stops when you enter the creature's reach. If you began in the creature's reach, you don't move. Okay. So... cool. Vexing Tumble is tricky because in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, not everyone has attacks of opportunity anymore. That's no longer a thing. It's only specialist like fighters or people with reactive strike that actually have attacks of opportunity and reacting abilities for when you're moving around them. My thought here is that is very hyper specific, but even if it wasn't, is it something you want? Because you have reactions to deal damage to people who miss you. And if you focus on boosting up your defense so that you can make these reactions to attack, then why would you use Vexing Tumble to avoid attacks of opportunity? I mean, unless you're dealing with something so grossly overpowered that you want to, say, move around a dragon without getting hit by a claw, sure, you know, like that makes sense. But these are very hyper-specific situations. So I don't think tumbling... yeah, I don't think tumbling is going to be the best... Vexing Tumble is going to be the best one for that one. Okay. Okay, next luck. 8th level, Bleeding Finisher. Your blow makes profuse bleeding, slashing, stabbing, and then you bleed. Equal to your precision thing. Yeah, okay, cool. So bleeding damage, just blood, blood, blood. Usually quite good, just damage over time. It's a good way to just keep, like, you know, like, especially if you've got, like, a bunch of, like, really kind of shit rolls going in, it always makes sure that at least there's some constant damage happening, which, you know, is quite good. Distracting Toss. A wild name, but sure. Especially to the British and the Australians. You toss one of the weapons into the air as a distraction, knowing you, you toss one weapon into the air as a distraction as you throw another. Choose a creature within 30 foot and feign against it. You attempt this feign even if the target is not within melee range, and the target becomes off guard as a result. This applies to your thrown weapon attacks for the duration. Regardless of the result, you can then interact to draw a thrown weapon and throw a weapon strike against the target if you have an open hand. Then catch the weapon you originally tossed into the air unless you critically fail at your attempt to feign, in which case it lands on the floor. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yes, absolutely, Pixie. That's 100% what it makes them. Okay, so that's cool. So you throw a weapon up into the air, you throw an attack with your throwing weapon, and you catch your weapon that you've thrown up into the air. But if you've got the throwing thing, then what you can do is you can go throw one weapon to the air, throw your second one, and then catch this one, catch the second one as it reflects back to you, and you've still got two weapons. There you go. It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. I do like what they're doing with throwing weapons, too. I love the fact that they're giving some love to that. Dueling Finisher. You split your attacks, make 2 melee strikes, one with each weapon. Each attack against a different foe. If the second strike is made with a non-agile weapon, it takes a -2 penalty. Your multiple attack penalties only apply after attempting both strikes. Ah, okay. So you still, so much like with the impaling one where you attack people in a row, this is exactly the same thing, but with people that are just within reach. So that's cool. Okay. Flashy roll. Like flashy dodge, you can use flashy dodge before attempting a reflex save, in addition to its original trigger. If you do, the circumstance allows your reflex save to against the trigger when you use flashy and the trigger attack fails or critically fails, or when you succeed or critically succeed against the saving throw, you can stride 10 foot as part of your reaction. And if you do, the reaction gains the move trait. You can use flashy roll while flying or swimming instead of just striding. Okay, so effectively when you are hit, or when, you know, like that flashy, what's the flashy dodge trigger? Flashy dodge trigger is... creature targets you. So when they target you with an attack, you can dodge. And then more importantly, when you take a saving throw, you can dodge as well. And it's a 10-foot dodge. So that's kind of cool. Does distracting toss feat have a specific dedication requirement? No, it does not. It has no requirements at all for distracting toss. All right, stunning finisher. You hit someone, target is unaffected if they save. They can't use reactions if they... Sorry, if they critically save, they're unaffected. If they save, they can't use reactions. If they fail, they are stunned 1. If they critical fail, they are stunned 3. So this just eats up turns for them. Probably one of the better ones that I've seen so far. Like, disarm is good and things, but stun's fucking great. Stun is a baller move, especially if they fail. Then you can just keep laying into them. Vivacious Bravado. You gain panache this turn. Your ego swells, gaining your temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier that lasts until your next turn. Cool. Which potentially you could do with initiative. If you have that thing where you're going last in the round, you can then, yeah, just gain some temporary hit points. The Buckler Dance. You spin your buckler defensively towards every attacker. You constantly have it raised as if you have raised shield. So why don't you raise a shield? You are wielding a buckler. Oh, right, it's a stance. So what happens here is you enter the buckler stance, and then you do not need to raise your shield. You are just always have your shield raised regardless. So it's a stance that you enter, right? I think this is the first stance that we've seen, right? Is it? Let me just have a quick squiz here. Yeah, it's our first stance. Level 10 before we got our first stance. I mean, fair, but like, you know, that's why it caught me off guard. Okay. All right. Daring Do. When you compound panache with even more daring do's, it sends us somehow work. When you already have panache, you can roll twice and use a higher result on circumstance bonus for stylish combat, such as tumbling through. Okay, so get advantage on stylish combat. Reflexive riposte. You can riposte without a thought. Opportune riposte. At the start of each of your turns, when you regain your action, you gain an additional reaction that can only be used to do the riposte. Wow! So you gain a second reaction every round. One of them is dedicated to that free attack. Okay, that is like, again, that is another must-have for this class. Holy shit, that's actually really fucking good. So you get 2 reactions effectively every round with this feat. Stumbling Finisher. Your excellent display of fighting prowess leaves your opponent stumbling back. Make a strike. If you hit, target is pushed back 10 foot. Okay. 5 foot or 10 foot. Okay, cool. So yeah, just hit someone they can knock backwards. That's fine. It's a good thing. Positioning, repositioning, all that sort of stuff is always very circumstantial, but it's good. The Switcheroo. You're targeted by a ranged attack. You are adjacent to an enemy and have panache. You attempt to deftly swap places with an adjacent enemy to avoid the attack. Choose an adjacent enemy and attempt a reposition instead of the normal reposition. However, critical success. You swap places with the target enemy, and the enemy becomes the target of the triggering attack. Success, as critical, except they have lesser cover against the triggering attack. Failure, you just lose your panache. Critical failure, you become off guard against your triggering attack. So, switcheroo, that's a good one. I like that one. That's a lot of fun. I think that one will have a great place, especially when you're like looking at gunslingers and stuff like that. It's like bang, and have them shoot their allies. So yeah, pretty happy about that one. Okay. Targeting finisher. Your attack harms and hinders your foe. Choose a particular part of your foe below and strike. If you hit and damage the use the hurting effect. Okay, cool. So if you hit an arm, you are enfeeble them. If you hit their head, you stupefy them. If you hit their legs, you reduce their move speed. Okay. So now you've got like targeting attacks with them, which is cool. Normally the way I do it is with the cold shots is you can forego a critical hit in order to have an effect happen based on where you're attacking. But I like this too. I like this as well because it's not like some of the effects aren't as big as your critical hit stuff, which I think works quite well. And you get it at level 10, so that's actually pretty far in. So, level 12, cheat death. You take damage that would reduce you to 0 hit points. Somehow you always escape the Reaper by a hair's breadth. You avoid being knocked out and or killed and remain at 1 hit point and gain panache, but you become doomed 1 or increase your doom value by 1 if you are already doomed. You can't reduce or ignore doomed condition from cheating death. The doomed condition from cheating death lasts for 10 minutes, though this doesn't affect the duration of any other doomed conditions you have. So yeah, basically you can't die till you are knocked down 3 times. I mean, yeah, you don't get wounded is the important bit. But it is a reaction. So you do have to be mindful that if you don't have a reaction, you can't use it. So that's one you have to watch out for. But that is also pretty good. Free action. Get used to disappointments. Expert in intimidation. Requirement. Your turn begins and one target within 30 foot fails an attack against or skill against you this last turn. You capitalize on your target's failure with a smug attitude and swagger, reminding them of the gap in your skills. You attempt to demoralize the opponent. Regardless of the result, they become temporarily immune for 1 minute. Alright, so yeah, basically if they suck against you, you free action get to mock them. Sure. Mobile finish. You attack in motion, stride and then strike. You can use mobile finisher while burrowing, climbing, flying, or swimming instead of striding, if you have the corresponding movement types. Okay, cool. So basically, again, one of those hard things to say. I think now that in this book you've had like the angels and the dragonborn and stuff, things that have wings, and we've now got fly speeds. We've also got the Howl of the Wild, which has introduced a lot of animals that might have swim speeds and stuff. I think mobile finisher is really kind of reaching out to those multiple races with different move speeds, and has kind of like made it so that this is now an accessible part of those. So it's good. It's interesting, and it helps make the swashbuckler more accessible to more races, which I like. The bigger they are. With reckless speed, you jump and dash and swing around a creature to find a more vulnerable spot, attempting a tumble through action to a creature one size category larger than you. Probably good for small creatures too. Critical success. You move through the enemy space, treating its space as difficult terrain. If you don't have enough speed to move all the way through, you get the same effect as a failure. If you succeed, however, you pass through the target's square, and the target gains weakness to your precision damage equal to half your level. Nice. Success is as the same, but it's only against your next attack as opposed to your whole turn. And failure, your movement ends, and then critical failure, you fall prone. Fair. Flamboyant leap. You're capable of using finisher. You leap and deliver a powerful finisher. Make a leap attempt, a high jump, or a long jump, and attempt a single one-action finisher at any point during the jump. This includes movements such as mobile finisher. Immediately after the finisher, you fall to the ground, even if you were in the air, even if you haven't reached the maximum distance of your jump. If the distance you fall is more than the height of your jump, you take no damage. When you're attempting the high jump or long jump, flamboyant leap, your DCs and long jumps increase the maximum distance size. Nice. Okay, so basically what it means is you can just jump and be like, and then land after hitting someone. This is going to be really good against anti-flyers and stuff like that, but also a good way to get away from danger. So if you do this, because any point in the leap is even when you take off, you could stab someone and then leap backwards onto a safer location. So it's a good way to get out as well. And it's a finisher, I believe, as well. Oh, no, yeah, because you do a finisher. So it's 2 actions to complete a finisher, then leap away. So that's cool. Impossible Riposte. Your riposte can deflect attacks back at their source. Your opportune, a foe outside of your reach, critically fails against you. In addition to this usual trigger, when you use the opportune repose, with this new trigger, your strike deflects some of the triggering effect back towards its source. Compare the results of your attack to the AC of the triggering effect. On a hit, you deal normal damage from your strike, but the damage changes to that of the triggering attack. For instance, if you use the opportunity repose to deflect a blazing bolt, your strike would deal fire damage instead of normal damage. Interesting. Okay. I would have preferred if you reverse the damage, like the firebolt then hits you or hits them. But damage type, I guess at level 14, sure. I'm not overly keen on that one. I think maybe in some circumstances that'll be good. The perfect finisher. You focus your panache to an impeccable assault, making a strike, rolling the attack twice and taking the better one. It's a finisher, but nice. I like that one. So yeah. Roll twice, take the hit. 16th, Deadly Grace. Your grace attacks are especially powerful when you score a critical hit with an agile weapon or finesse weapon that has the deadly trait. You double the number of dice from the trait. When you wield an agile or finesse weapon that doesn't deal the deadly trait, it deals d8s instead as deadly. Nice. All right, so yeah, that's just going to basically make most of your damages more brutal, especially around critical hits, which we like, especially if we are crit fishing. Felicious Repose. You take advantage of the foe's openings with uncanny odds, making an opportune repose. Roll twice in the attack roll, take the better result. Cool. So very similar to the perfect finish, but not a finisher. You do, of course, need to be vulnerable to the hit, and when they miss, then you get that. But I think that's actually a really good one. Revitalizing Finisher. On a hit, an ally within 30 foot gains temporary hit points equal to your level. If you fail to hit, however, you gain temporary hit points equal to half your level. So yeah, if you succeed, it's everyone. If you fail, it's only you that gets the temporary hit points. Incredible Luck. You always seem bound to bounce back from the worst when you use Charmed Life. Roll to save twice and take the higher. Okay, so I'm noticing a pattern here. A lot of the stuff towards the end of the Swashbuckler's life is rolling with advantage. So, wow, okay. Lethal Finisher. Precise strike of 66. You stab your foe in a vital organ, possibly killing them outright. Make a strike, and on a success, you forego the precision damage from the finisher. Instead, the target takes an additional precision damage based on a fortitude save and the class DC. If your strike was critical, the savings throw outcome becomes worse. 1 degree worse. So critical success, 6 precision damage. Success, 66 precision damage. Failure, 12d6 precision damage. Critical failure, 18d6 precision damage. Which, if you've used the ability from before that gives them the weakness against your precision damage, is going to do even more damage. So, fuck, that's a good one. Parry and Repose. Opportune Repose. You parry and finishers allow you to repose the slightest provocation. You can use oppose or parry against an enemy who fails to strike against you, not just critical, provided you both have damaged that creature with a finisher on your last turn. Okay, so if you've landed a finisher on this guy and he misses without critically failing, you now do an opportune repose. Level 18 is very high for that, I think. I think that's another one of those ones that would be better much earlier, but it's a good ability. It's a good ability. 20th level. Eliminates Finisher. You are not fatigued. Your strikes flow seem endlessly. Step and attempt a single one-action finisher. This strike gains bravado, possibly replenishing your panache. If you regain panache, you can immediately attempt another finisher as part of this action, ignoring the restriction of using actions with the attack after a finisher. So, I guess this is kind of like you can finish him with multiple finishers. I guess. As long as you're not fatigued. Inexhaustible counter moves. At the start of the enemy's turn, you gain an extra reaction. You can only use during that turn for an opportunity repose or reactive strike. Fuck you. What the hell? So not only do you have one ability that says you get 2 reactions every round, one of which has to be the opportune repose, but this one here just says at the start of every single one of your enemy's turns, you get that free one? That is nuts. That is actually insane. That is definitely a 20th level ability. Holy shit. And Panache Paragon. You find opportunities to perform stylish feats in a moment between others' heartbeats and blinks. You're permanently quickened. You can use the extra action only to perform a bravado action. So everyone, you get 4 actions at the end of the turn. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, the Swashbuckler. All in all, I'm not disappointed at all. There is a ton of maneuvers that go into this. The finishers are amazing. They sound incredible. The fact that you can move between the combos is going to be so good. And tumbling through enemies in order to gain additional effects, I think is going to just add for a lot of momentum with this high yield character. I think it is going to be quite difficult to do because there's a lot of stuff to keep track of. Things like your panache, things like your reactions per round. A lot of this stuff is going to really take that into account. So early game, I think this is going to be really wonderful. I think later game, it's going to start to rear a more challenging head. But I'm very, very happy with the results, and I think a lot of people are too. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy playing one of these guys. They are fun, they are dynamic, and honestly, if I'm being perfectly candid, unless you are using a non-finesse or non-agile weapon, I don't see any reason why people would choose a fighter over the Swashbuckler, like straight up. So there we go. These are all amazing. I love how they build on each other. Yeah, me too. I am very, very pleased at how well they build off each other. All right. Well, with that being said, guys, we have reached the end of today's stream. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of today's show. We are going to go and raid someone. Yeah, no worries. It was my pleasure. There's still a little bit more to read in regards to things like the familiars, for example. So I will probably do that at some point, but I'm glad to be done with the races and classes now. That is for certain. Let's go and raid Blackwater D&D. We love our friends over at Blackwater, so we're going to go and give them a little bit of love. Once again, thank you everyone for coming and joining us. Thank you for being a part of the show. My name is Dag. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. This is my place. This is my phase. I will be back tomorrow for Reign of Winter with a bunch of new Patreons playing Pathfinder, fighting dragons, doing a bunch of cool stuff. So be sure to tune in for that. Until we meet again, as always, from us to you, stay safe, stay wonderful, be kind to each other because why the fuck not is free. And until we meet again, game hard or die trying. Bye, folks!